And we are live. How's everybody doing tonight? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and you're watching and/or listening to ABL Live. Thank y'all for joining me tonight. You could be almost anywhere in the world, but you're right here with me live on the show, and I appreciate y'all for that. We got a whole lot going on all over the internets, all over mainstream media, social media, everywhere, and I'm not sure where to start. First of all, Thomas Massie, he dead, not literally, but politically, pretty much. We'll talk about that a little bit more a little bit later. Also, a couple of shootings, one in San Diego at the mosque, another at, I don't know where this was, in Austin, Texas. I'm not quite sure where it was. I think it was all over the entire city. I think they had the city on high alert because there was a group of quote unquote teens terrorizing the place. We'll talk about that a little bit more a little bit later. Also, Luigi Mangione back in the news. His trial is beginning. They have thrown out some evidence, but it won't really be consequential. But interesting development are the Mangionistas, however they pronounce it, Mangionistas, the Luigi girls, all these women who follow this killer to all his court dates, the same as Ted Bundy and all the other serial killers. What's going on with that? We'll talk about that a little bit more a little bit later. Also, Raul Castro has finally been indicted by the U.S. government. Does this mean that we're going to send Big Marco and the boys into Cuba to take that over? Will it be a ground invasion, or will it be, hey, you're welcome with open arms, please come save us? We'll talk about all those things and a whole lot more on tonight's episode of ABL Live. And thank y'all again for being here. You guys are the best audience anywhere on these interwebs. If you like what you're hearing thus far, if you enjoy the content in general, please give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. Shout out to you if you were in the Instagram live on yesterday. I appreciate y'all for that one. Y'all will see that coming out on Friday on YouTube. That was a pretty good Instagram live. I had some callers to come on, and it's a little bit different in here because it's kind of like back in the old days where we had Skype. I don't know how people do it now. I don't think anybody does video calls. Maybe they do Zoom. I don't know. But when we had Skype, RIP to Skype, I could bring people on to the actual screen. I probably could do that here. I just haven't done it. But on the Instagrams, you could do that easily. Just add them, and then they're right there. The sound is not necessarily the best, but it's okay. We're going to rock with it. It was a pretty good show. I think I might put some clips out from the talks that I did. You know, I think I put some of those out. Shout out to you guys over on the TikToks. I see y'all. Y'all liking the call video I did with the Tuck the Builder dude. I'm glad y'all appreciate that. And it was well received over there, so that's a good thing. So shout out to all you guys on all the other platforms and on the YouTube. Y'all know I go live every Wednesday and Saturday right here on the YouTubes. But shout out to y'all. I'm reading some of the comments. Shout out to Tucson. All right, shout out to Tucson. I know it's hot. I know it's hot as fish grease out there. And not even fish grease because there ain't no moisture. It's like you getting baked in the oven, okay, with no cooking oil or nothing, just straight up, just a rack in your skin. That's how it feels. But shout out to y'all over there. Y'all stay cool as possible and just enjoy the scenery. The scenery out there in the West, like New Mexico, El Paso, Texas, Phoenix, Tucson, Mesa, all of that is beautiful. And then you go up to the Grand Canyon up north, even more beautiful. So shout out to you guys out there in that particular part of the world. Exactly, Jennifer. Timu Manson girls, yeah. Talking about the Luigi Mangione girls. It's always every single time, whenever you get a serial killer or something like that, some crazy, destructive male, it'd be a lot of women that follow him. And if they think he's handsome or whatever, yeah, they're gonna be with him. They're definitely gonna follow him. Shout out to Yuma out there, Michigan. Shout out to Michigan, Jennifer. Thank you for joining. T-shirt guys say people from Kentucky. Okay, shout out to Kentucky. Massie, ha ha ha. Say, hey, Massie. I don't know what's going on with Massie. I don't know what's the deal with him. I don't know what his purpose, what his goal is. And people were talking about Massie, and they were pointing out the age disparity in those who voted for him, saying, well, it's mostly the boomers who voted for him, well, not necessarily boomers, not just them, but like 55 and up. I don't think that's boomer age. I think that's like Gen X. But anyway, the older generation voted more for Ed Gallrein, and the younger generation voted more for Thomas Massie. But the thing about that is that's the typical pattern of voting when you're talking about Democrat and Republican. Younger voters lean left, older voters lean right. So if you are a conservative running for office, it's not a flex that all your support came from the younger generation. That's people who are more left leaning anyway, and you're running for a Republican position. The older generation voted for the Republican because older people vote Republican. The younger folks voted for the Libertarian because he's not a Republican, because they're not Republican as of yet. But once they get to be a little bit older and wiser, then they'll change their ways. When I was young and dumb and didn't know anything, I thought that being liberal was the way to go. And as I got older, had more life experience, and became a man, I realized that I was doing the wrong thing. I realized the error of my ways, but you're not really going to realize that sometimes until you get to be a little bit older. And that is what I see with Thomas Massie. Younger generation, they lean more to the left. They could say they're Republican. They could say they're conservative. That's fine. But how you actually vote is different. Just like Thomas Massie, he can say, I'm a MAGA Republican. Well, no, he can't say that. He could say I'm a Republican. Abiding by the Constitution. Okay, whatever. But check it out. If you are a Republican and you want to caucus with us and you keep voting against us in the most absolute inopportune times, key moments where we need all hands on deck, key moments where we as a team need all hands on deck, you want to do something else. I understand having an opposing view sometimes, but good grief. In the most critical moments where we need you, you know where to be found. So it's like, what's the point in having you here? I'm not mad at Trump for supporting Ed Gallrein. I'm not mad at all. The talking point about $32 million being spent to defeat Massie is a misnomer. It's not even, if somebody says that to you, they're low information. And ask them this question. Ask them, if somebody says that to you, a $32 million line put into the race by AIPAC or whatever, ask them this. Okay, is that $32 million total between the two of them that was spent on the campaign? Or is it just from one to the other? And if so, how much did the other side raise? Once you really get down to the core, because it won't be an answer, once you figure out the answer, what you're going to find is that about 19 million was spent on Ed Gallrein and about 15 or 16 was spent on Thomas Massie. Is that big of a gap? Remember when President Trump ran the first time in 2016 against Hillary Clinton? She had, I think, what was that? What was her number? Y'all know, $1.5 billion. He had $750 million. So he had half of the money, but still was able to win. In this case, the money that was spent on them was not that much different. It was almost equal. Yes, there was more spent on Gallrein, but not by that much. There was still quite a bit spent on Thomas Massie. And Thomas Massie, his number one donor, is a J. Straight Zionist who wants the greater Israel. So when you keep talking about the Jews this and Israel that, whenever I hear that, I roll my eyes. Whenever I hear that, I roll my eyes because I'm too old and I understand where that comes from. It's just a shtick. It's a game. It's not really real. It's something that people say to try and gain an audience. And you were able to gain an audience of people online, some of whom may be real, and others are going to be straight from India, okay? Straight from India, no flip-flops, no socks, no nothing. Straight barefoot on the ground on their cell phone, okay? You got them in your corner, and that's okay. But what is that going to do for you in Kentucky, District 4? What's that going to do for you out there? Nothing. That's why you lost. And it wasn't even a close race. It was like 55 to 45. You got stomped in the wine. Stomped in the wine on GP because you know what? I think maybe you threw the race because what's up with all this anti-J stuff all of a sudden? The Epstein files? You don't care about the Epstein files, bro. You couldn't care less because you didn't talk about that much until 2025, until it became the in vogue thing to do. You and Marjorie Taylor Greene and everybody else, Ro Khanna. Why is it seen as a good thing that you and Ro Khanna, a stone cold stomp down California leftists, are besties? Why is that seen as a good thing? How is that something that makes sense for a Republican to have a best friend like that. I mean, you just really in the way. You're in the way. People talking about, oh, he has his constitutional views. Please save it. You're just in the way. I think what's going to happen now is that he's going to be a podcaster, and that's okay. Hey, if you want to hear the Thomas Massie podcast, then that's great. That's fantastic. Yeah, I support the freedom of speech, but you could do that over there on your podcast. If people want to hear your takes, if they want to hear J-Man Bad all day, then that's fine. That's totally great. That's great. Knock yourself out. If you like that kind of content, I can't do nothing with it personally. I mean, if I hear that all day, I'm just like, man, I'm about to just leap from this tall building and end it, because who wants to hear that? But if you do, that's your business. Knock yourself out. That's what you want to do. Knock yourself out. But I can't do nothing with it. So yeah, Thomas Massie, you lost, bro. Shout out to Ed Gallrein, Navy SEAL and farmer out there in Kentucky. I think he'll do a good job. People talking about, oh, it's going to be Trump's lapdog. It don't got to be like that. If I am coming into this team, I want to help the team succeed. That's my role on the team. I'm not here to just put up individual statistics and be a showboat and not help the team win. We're playing a team sport. We're talking about politics. If you're a House rep, there's only so many of us who are Republican. There could be just one vote that separates a bill from passing and not passing. So if you're going to always be that one vote, if you're going to always be the obstacle we got to get over, then you have to go. And the voters of Kentucky recognize that. The money aspect, as I was able to demonstrate, is not even the issue, because the money that was spent on them was nearly equal. It was a lot of money that was spent, but the money that was spent on them was nearly equal. But the money is irrelevant if you don't have a popular idea, if you don't have popular goals, if you don't have popular ambition with your constituents. So you lost. It is what it is. And shout out to the Kentuckians who voted for Ed Gaulin. You did the right thing, in my humble opinion. In my humble opinion. Now, I know, as I said in my video about this, I know I'm going to get some of the, oh, you got $7,000, the Israel this, Israel that. You're watching too many podcasts, too much Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson, people like that. Talk about the Jew stuff all the time. Jew this, Jew that, Jew. Meanwhile, they're getting straight big bags of money from them very same Jews every single day. Big bags of money. Okay. Yeah. Jew man bad. Meanwhile, here comes here comes Bernie Ecclestone with a big bag of money every day on their desk. Okay. They're on the phone with Stephen Cohen every day, asking for topics, asking for questions for business advice. Okay. They're going to DJ Vlad, talking to him, asking for advice. It's phony. They're not being authentic. And at a certain point, people can see through that. People can see through that. Those who may have voted for you before, now you start talking like this. It's like, I don't like this. I think that my vote is best spent somewhere else with a real guy, or at least a guy who I think is real, a Navy SEAL and the farmer stand-up guy at Gallrein, a guy who's going to just come in there, do his job, do what he was put there to do. Because one thing about it, we speaking about politics, and, you know, people always ask me, do I want to run? If people really, really want me to serve and everybody's behind me, I got a big group behind me and they want me to serve, then I'll serve. At that point, I feel like I'm giving back. I'm not trying to be a politician for my own purposes. If that was to happen, I would have to do that because I want to serve. That should be your role. It shouldn't be any personal ego involved. It shouldn't be no grandstanding involved. Hey, I see Thomas Massie up there with a cell phone, taking selfies. I might even see a little duck lip action. You might even see that. That's kind of what I get from him. You're trying to be Sam Rothstein, which is funny. You're trying to do that in Congress. But hey, now you could just go be a podcaster and take that act on the road. Candace Owens, very first interview. Tucker Carlson, Megyn Kelly, do all of those. And those people at a certain point, I may have enjoyed watching, but you know, sometimes things change, people change, their message changes. And I feel like at a certain point, when you get these really big podcasters, there could be a particular motive for financial benefit. Now, I'm not trying to say they hate the Jays because of money, because there's money involved. I'm just saying, if you say, I hate the Jays, J-Man bad, the Jews did it, I blame the Jews, expel the Jews. If you say that, and then that very same day, you get money with the Jews, working with the Jews. They on your team. They're part of your staff. You're just saying whatever you think people want to hear to get their money. And I'm not really into that. I don't like stuff like that. I don't care who it is. You could be a Democrat, Republican. I don't like people who are obviously fake, who say things just to get attention, things that they don't even really believe, when they stage things to make things look one way when they're not that way. Spencer Pratt. I seen some of your ads, Spencer Pratt. The Fresh Prince ad. A lot of y'all sent me the Fresh Prince ad, and I saw it, but I didn't like how he used the fake trailer right in the opening scene. It was like a big middle finger. It's like, yeah, ABL, I'm gonna use the trailer right in the opening scene, and I'm gonna go viral. How you like that? I don't like that. That's petty. It's just unnecessary. I like real people. But, at a certain point, I think we got spoiled with like a Trump and other politicians. We got spoiled because with Trump and others, a handful of others, we were used to seeing a real person and not a politician. Even, what's the name? What's my man's name over there in Pennsylvania? Fetterman. Fetterman kind of has that real edge to him, the real appeal to him. Although I'm not a big Fetterman fan because he had a brain injury, I understand why people like him because he's like a real person. He comes off as authentic. But when you're talking about some of these other politicians, even some of the newer ones, it comes off as fake right away. Used car salesman at best. Okay, type dude that will sell you a lemon with a flood warning on it and don't even tell you. Okay, that thing could have been up to his elbows in water for a month from a whole different country. And he would just look you dead in the face and sell it right to you. Like ain't nothing happened. That's the kind of vibe I get from a Gavin Newsom and others. I ain't gonna say everybody's name. Spencer Pratt. I couldn't help it. I'm sorry. But people like that, how y'all say it? They give me the ick. They give me the big ick for sure. But yeah, shout out to that trailer, Jennifer. That trailer is tearing me to pieces. Every time I see it, I instantly get mad right away. It's like, I could have a happy day. I could be outside enjoying the weather, the birds chirping, the bees are being. It's a little bit of, the sun's shining. And then all of a sudden, I open my phone up, and then I see the trailer and the ad. It's like, you know what? You're about to ruin my day. I got to put my phone away right now. Yeah, I'm not really a fan. But shout out to you guys. I appreciate y'all for rocking and rolling. If you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. But yeah, shout out to all those who won their respective races and those who are going to keep on winning. I'm seeing Keisha Lance Bottoms has won her primary out there in Georgia to try and become the governor. Now, Georgia, if you can hear the sound of my voice, I don't care if you are Democrat, Republican. First of all, if you are living in Atlanta, I'm going to speak to the ATLians specifically. And then I'm going to talk to the entire state of Georgia. But first, ATLians. If you live in Atlanta and you lived there during the scamdemic when she was the mayor, you know how much of a mess Atlanta was during that time. Some are going to say it's still a mess right now. Okay, I get it. I'm going to go ahead and just give you that one. That was a zinger. Okay, I appreciate it. But check it out. Andre Dickens, the current mayor, is light years better than Keisha Lance Bottoms was. I say that as a guy who's there a lot. I've been here through all of that. I've been adjacent to the city for many years now. When Keisha Lance Bottoms was there, it was a mess. It was a complete mess. Remember Sequoia Turner? I covered that story where the little girl died after being shot by some BLM people. They took over a block in Atlanta. They took over like a Wendy's or something like this. They burnt the Wendy's up, took over the block, and as a result, a little girl got killed. She was the mayor during that time. The response was totally inadequate. It was a mess. It kind of reminded me of what happened with DC. Remember, or was that Baltimore? We gave them space to destroy. Another black female mayor, but I don't want to go down that road. I don't want to get offensive. My point is that these mayors, female Democrat, if it was a black female Republican, if you had a black female Republican as a mayor, like a Winsome Earl Sears, hey, it wouldn't have been nobody on the street acting up. Hey, it wouldn't have been nobody out there causing the. It would have been orderly. But them, the Democrats, spineless, incompetent, just let whatever go on. Just let whatever go on. And now that same person who let whatever go on is going to be the governor of Georgia. Oh, no, no, no. Please don't do it. And some of y'all know better. You wanted somebody else to be the nominee on the Democratic side. You didn't want Keisha Lance Bottoms. So now you have, I think it'll be Burt Jones. Because it's Burt Jones. He has a runoff against a GOP challenger. I forget his name. Y'all let me know. But it's going to be a runoff. And I hope Burt Jones wins. I liked him before. And that's also a Trump-backed candidate. So I think that he'll succeed in the Republican primary. And then when it comes to voting, he'll become the governor. And let's not forget, you had, who was that ran? Big Mama, Stacey Abrams, M1 Abrams tank. She ran up against Brian Kemp and got stomped out. It wasn't even close. It was a bad, bad defeat. And they did all kind of stuff for Stacey Abrams. They put her in Star Trek. What was that she was in? Star Trek? Hold on. Was it Stacey Abrams, Star Trek, Star Wars? Yeah, okay. She was in the season 4 finale of Star Trek Discovery. Okay. Now, if you don't believe me, look at this. Look at this. Hold on. Let me pull it up right quick. All right. So, boom. Now, look, Ms. Abrams. I get it. You're a fan. You're a Trekkie or whatever. But I'm not trying to see that on my TV. And then on top of that, you're trying to become the governor. Like, what type of nonsense is this? Do I want to see my governor just at this point in her life, in her 30s or 40s or 50s, trying to become a TV actor? For what reason? They did everything possible to try to put this lady to a high position to get notoriety so she would succeed in the governor's race in Georgia, but didn't work. And even Trump was kind of anti Brian Kemp because of the whole election kerfuffle, but it didn't matter because people of Georgia said, hey, he is the better pick. Just like they're going to say that Burt Jones is the better pick over Keisha Lance Bottoms. Oh my goodness. Keisha Lance Bottoms. The only thing that Keisha Lance Bottoms has over Stacey Abrams is her look. Okay. And if y'all don't know, let me just show you how she looks. I mean, I'm not saying she's like, you know what I mean? A supermodel, but compared to Big Mama, she's Rihanna. You understand what I'm saying? So hold on. Can we get a picture right quick? Hold on. All right, let's not get let's not get a Bigfoot image quality. All right, there we go. So that's her. Okay, kind of light skin, got a nice little swoop bang. Your mom swoop bang. You know what I mean? She got that going on. She looks nice. She looks very nice. She looks good for the campaign trail. Much better than Stacey Abrams. However, having a decent look about you is not going to matter when it comes down to the politics. And don't let there be a debate. Oh my goodness. It's going to be a mess. Don't let her and Burt Jones have a debate. And of course, there's going to be a question about how she handled Atlanta during the pandemic. It's going to be all kind of hemming and hawing going on. With Burt Jones, he has a good record. He was a lieutenant governor, I believe, under Brian Kemp, a very well-loved and respected governor. I saw Democrats saying that they would want to vote for Brian Kemp again over anybody that's running. That's how respected he was. So I think there will be carryover from Brian Kemp going into Burt Jones, but Keisha Lance Bottoms has no carryover. There's going to be a big media campaign to make her be glamorous. You'll see little TikToks and whatnot of her. I'm already seeing a few right now on my phone from Twitter and whatnot. But that won't be enough. Just like it wasn't enough when you had Big Mama out there on Star Trek. It wasn't enough when you had Thomas Massie doing podcasts, trying to be cool, talking about the J's this, the J's that, trying to appeal to the 21-year-old Discord user on the internet, not in Kentucky. You could do that, but what's it going to do for you in your district? Nothing. That's why you lost. Anyway, all right, Gizzies. All right, Gizzies, come on, man. Like, we don't got time. Gizzies, You in here trolling, like, be productive. You're like 20 something years old. You don't got nothing going on. You know what I mean? Get in the shower, wash your hind parts, put some clothes on, and go do something rather than being in here trolling. Me, a liberal and the grifter, why would I ever? Why would I ever? Anybody that knows me knows that I'm an honest, straightforward person, and I always am like that. I don't care about nothing that nobody says. I'm going to always be 100% honest. And I'm right, too, though. That's the thing about it. People might not like it all the time, but that doesn't mean that I'm not correct. You know, not liking something is not the same thing as calling me a liar. Okay? That's right, Booker and Girl. She most certainly looks better. Yeah, the other one can't do nothing with it. And, you know, people think that looks don't matter. They do matter. They most certainly do matter. A lot of these celebrities and whatnot, people on television will be the ones that say looks don't matter. Meanwhile, they got all kind of work done. They on Ozempic. They on all these different drugs. And y'all know me. Since I'm right here talking about Ozempic for some reason, please don't do these drugs. I beg you, please don't do it. The way to lose weight, and I've lost 100 pounds at one point. At one point, I was as big as 280. I got down to 180. I'm about 220 right now, but I was as big as, I'm almost 300 pounds. I was a certified big back. Okay. I wasn't a net beard though, but I was a certified big back, if you understand what I'm saying. So I understand how to do it. And rather than Ozempic, rather than these drugs that alter your body, that alter your brain, that will cause you side effects and long-term debilitating effects, what you should do is just not eat so much. Step away from the table. Okay. I know you got a big donut in your mouth right now. Put that donut down. Boston cream. That was back in the day when I was really a bit back. Hey, give me a Boston cream donut. Oh my goodness. Yeah. I could bang 2 or 3 of them back to back. Like it ain't nothing. Yeah. Like it's nothing. So please don't do these drugs. And my looks maxing Triple H. Now the looks maxers, like the dude clavicular, they use drugs. That's what I'm saying. This dude's on testosterone, all kind of stuff, and that's gonna make you go crazy. You're gonna pull a Chris Benoit one day, so don't do that. Yeah, don't do that, especially when you're not really. It's not time for you to do it. You 18 years old on T. That's crazy. That's nuts. I mean, you're 18 years old on T. That would be too much for an old man. That's gonna just make you go completely nuts. I saw the Hot Twins podcast with Larry Wheels, and they're talking about the side effects of some of these drugs and trend and all of that stuff. I'm good. If these side effects are that debilitating, you can keep it. The risk is not worth the reward, in my humble opinion. Okay, in my humble opinion. Now the cookies, Ivy, the cookies. That was my later. After I was not a big bat, it was the cookies. But before that, oatmeal cream pies, honey buns, all of that. You know what I mean? It's like with my food vices, it went from being a crack smoker to being a cigarette smoker. Okay, the crack was all the Little Debbie's, all of that, the whole Little Debbie line. And matter of fact, it's a Little Debbie factory right down the way. Back in my big bat days, I would go to the factory and buy the cookies and cakes and whatnot wholesale. But now I might have the occasional cookie. So I've gone from being a fentanyl abuser, metaphorically, don't nobody say I smoke fentanyl, but I've gone from being a fentanyl user metaphorically to now I just smoke a cigarette. That's pretty much what it is. All right. Gizzy's, are we still trolling, bro? With all caps? Is that what we're gonna do? I gotta block you, man. Come on, man. Like, let's not get blocked on the Wednesday night. Like, that's gotta be the worst thing in the world. It's like, what's going on in your life? What's going on in your life when you go to a live stream on a Wednesday night at 8:43 p.m. and have to get blocked? It's like, bro, it's like being a full-grown man being kicked out of a park. It's like, how do you do that? Like, all you got to do is just chill in the park. You don't even got to say nothing. You could just kick back and relax. And you getting kicked out, that's embarrassing. I wish I would, at this big age, get kicked out of a place. I would never. Whenever I see somebody getting kicked out or there's like some kind of confrontation brewing, I cringe internally. I cringe internally. What else we got going on? So you got the shootings out there in San Diego and I believe one in Austin. Now, that one in Austin, they found one of the guys. I think there was at 1.2 teenagers arrested. Now they got a third one. And this guy has an ICE detainer. Imagine my surprise. Imagine my surprise. One of the shooters from Austin, Texas, who was terrorizing the city over the weekend, is in custody on an ICE detainer. Okay, see, look, this is what we're talking about when we say that the whole issue of mass deportations is one of safety, because you got so many criminal aliens over here and we have no idea who they are. We have no idea where they're from. We have no idea what they've done in their country of origin. We have no clue what's going on. So it's best to get them up out of the country so we can have a more safe country. Okay, if that person was not here illegally, then maybe it wouldn't have been multiple shootouts and robberies and carjackings over the weekend in Austin, Texas. I'm just saying, maybe that would have been the case. But hey, what do I know? But yeah, they got one of them. They think they were all teenagers, just wreaking havoc. Then you go to San Diego, and you got two teenagers shooting up a mosque. Now, there's all kind of stuff about them. I had some of the video where they were live streaming, because of course they were live streaming. They live streamed the event. I didn't show anybody getting shot or anything, but there's a full video online. I cannot post that on my YouTube or anything because that's going to be, totally against any kind of rules. But I have seen it. And what was happening, they were going through the building shooting. And at the end, the one young man shot the other. And then the guy who shot the other shot himself. That's what happened. And they got a manifesto. I've seen some things that could be the manifesto. I'm not quite sure. But from what I see, it's typical, usual stuff. Okay, lonely male, online, too much, getting into the wrong thing, getting radicalized, and then kaboom, he does something like that. That's what's going on with these guys. Now, I don't know what you do to stop it, but all I would say is be prepared. And a lot of schools and churches, I see police presence out front. And is there no sound, or we good? Okay, hold on, because I see sound on my end. Okay, you turn the audio off. All right, let's get this. Let's hey, wait, let's stop acting up. Let's stop trolling, Gizzies, and turn the sound on. How about that? But anyway, you're not getting any more attention tonight, so go do something else. But as I was saying, I lost my whole train of thought. See, y'all making me distracted reading the chat. What was I talking about? Y'all gonna tell me in the chat in a minute. Hold on. I totally lost it. I was talking about the big bag stuff, the snacks, the food. Then I forgot. I totally forgot. But yeah, shout out to you guys. I appreciate y'all. Once you guys let me know, I'm gonna get right back on it. Once I get that word that'll trigger it, I'll get right back on it. Okay, the teenage shooters, thank you. See, look, thank you. While life is rough, I'm right back on it. So the teenage shooters, these guys are like many of the other ones where they online too much, loners, getting radicalized, and then kaboom. That's going to be the biggest issue. Okay, that's going to be the biggest issue. Why did these young guys? And I'm not sure what you could do to stop it. What you can do, this is where I was. About the security. So what I've seen quite a bit is schools and churches, they'll have the police cars right out front. Like it'll be two police cars right at the front entrance with lights on and people inside. Not the, blue and not those, but just their lights, their headlights and everything else. So you know that it's somebody in the vehicle. So you got one vehicle, another vehicle, and then the entrance. So any kind of threat that's going to arise, they on it. It'll be the two cars out front, and it'll be a deputy on the inside. Now, some are going to say, well, hey, we don't have the resources. Well, you got to figure something out. A lot of people will just have their, like a deputy right in front of the school. And if there's an emergency that comes up at that time, he can be released. So they might have two right there. If there's an emergency that comes up, they could just have that person leave and the other one stay. But either way, it'll always be a security force at the school. You got to have that. And the church as well. You got to have it. Because if you don't, you're going to be vulnerable to some of these people. The feds might know about them. They might be kind of watching them, but they can't really do much until there's an action taken that is illegal. And a lot of times that action is the actual shooting itself. But yeah, they have all kind of stuff in the manifesto. If the manifesto is real, the Jews this, the Jews that. This is why whenever I hear about the Jews this and Jews that, I kind of roll my eyes and a red flag goes up, because a lot of your more extremist types think that way as well. When they're ranting everything about the Jews and blaming everybody else and going on a personal pity party, that to me is a red flag. So whenever I hear that, I'm gonna just log it in my mind, and I might call the cops on you for real, for real. If I get a weird vibe, a weird sensation, y'all know me. Hey, I'm on the phone. Hey, this dude right here, he was talking a little bit too weird for me. It was a little bit too off-putting. So hey, I'm giving y'all a tip. I'm putting a little bug in your ear. Okay, I'm putting the bug in your ear about this boy right here, because he might go off the deep end. So please be aware. Please be aware. And now I think we all recognize the type. We could kind of see it in our community. So we know where the danger could come from. We already know kind of what it is. The mom had 30 guns. Oh my goodness. 30 guns. Now, my question is, were the guns locked up or nah? And I would have to assume that the mom knew something. I think if your kids are struggling with some kind of mental health issue, you would know. I think, well, maybe not all the time. Maybe you don't see the signs, but I think now we can see the signs. Now we can understand what they're going through a little bit, or we can understand that their action that they take, the actions they take may be from something that they're going through, and that needs to be corrected. And if it's not, you're going to have an explosion. Hey, I love calling the federales. I got them on my 1-800-FEDERALES immediately. Hey, I see something and I say something. I'm that guy. Yeah, I be in court. Hey, officer, it was him. The dude with the orange jumpsuit and the funny dreads and the funny beard, it was him. He did it. He's the one that took the candy bar from the Quickie Mart. Yeah, I tell right away. I'm a law-abiding citizen. I'm not trying to get locked up or in trouble or nothing like that. No way, Jose. J Flo says gun laws will never stop crazy. Stay frosty. That's right. That's what I'm saying. It's like if you got somebody close to you that has access to your weaponry, to things of a sensitive nature, you got to make sure that they're locked up, they're kept away, because you already know that that crazy person has that tendency to do things they shouldn't be doing, and your guns are going to be a primary target for them when they want to go crash out, when they want to go do something they shouldn't be doing. Very simple. Hey, it was him, bedazzling Globetrotter. It was him. Yeah, the dude right there with the handcuffs and shackles. Yeah, he the one that did it. He the one that took the candy bar from the corner bodega, from Zoran Mamdani's area. Speaking about Mamdani, New York City, are you guys going to make it? Are you guys going to be okay? I hope you guys are going to be okay. A lot of y'all live in New York. New York is our biggest city. I would think probably our most important city is New York City still. Even with all the nonsense going on, it's still the apple of the apple. It's still the best of the best, the head honcho. But there's some cracks in the armor, and I'm not quite sure that Zoran is going to be able to fix it. You got Gotham City, no Batman. Who is Zoran? He's not even the police commissioner. He's just like a dude. What's he going to do to help Los Angeles? And not Los Angeles, New York City. And with Los Angeles, you got Nithya Raman, who is basically another Zoran, a Zoran clone. They cloned Tyrone. They cloned Zoran, and they cloned Nithya. Put her out there, put him in New York City. Are they going to do a good job or not? Will it be a managed decline like London? How you feel about London? Anybody been there? Anybody live there? I see a lot of videos of London, and I see kind of a dump. I'm not sure if it's been that way for a long time, but what I do know is that they came out and said that I think if the entire UK, or at least England, maybe the entire UK, is poorer than Mississippi. And that's a real thing. Poorer than one of our poorest states. As a matter of fact, they said not Mississippi. They were the poorest state. If you rank all the U.S. states from richest to poorest, UK is below the poorest. So with a London, there's been a decline. So do you have a Sadiq Khan in there to manage the decline the same way you're going to have another person of the same heritage, Zoran in New York City, managing decline, Nithya Raman managing decline? Is that what's going on? I don't know. And also about London, I'm seeing quite a bit of Allah Akbar activity, a lot of, Muslim invasion happening. The invasion is over with. It's already done. They already pretty much got, like, they're pretty much, you might as well rename UK to the Islamic Republic of the United Kingdom. You might as well just name it that. Replace the royal family with some dude with the, with the prince, like, have it be like Saudi Arabia. Mohammed bin UK, put him in there as the top dog, put in Sadiq Khan to be the prime minister, and then rock out. Had that be Saudi Arabia West. And then the rest of Europe will go the same way. If UK completely falls, then the rest of Europe will be the same way. Maybe until you get to like Eastern Europe, they might be able to hold on. But if that happens, the Russian Federation got to get let loose and let them take more influence over the East. If the European Union cannot hold the European Union up from the Muslims, then they're going to be totally vulnerable to the Russian Federation. The point of NATO is to protect them from the Russians. But what about Turkey, Pakistan, India, and everybody else coming in, taking over? It's not even going to be an invasion. It's going to be a welcoming. And you wake up one day and there's no more Europe. It'll be West Pakistan and Russia. That'll pretty much be all that it is. But yeah, shout out to the Russian Federation. Shout out to everybody. Shout out to NATO. Shout out to the Jays out there. To anybody who is like an Israel hater, I'd love for you to call in. I'm not an Israel supporter or a hater. I just see them for what they are. Israel is USA Part 2. That's what they are. We work with them and we do things for our best interests that are also for their best interests. Just like with the whole Iran situation. Shout out to Andrew, my man from the call last night, and everybody on the call. Shout out to you guys. But there was a question asked. The question was, are we fighting this war for Israel or are they fighting it for us? I was like, well, that's the wrong framing. What's happening here, in my opinion, with the Iran war or Iran, however you want to say it, Persia, that particular war, we're fighting for our interest. The Israelis are fighting it for their interest. But we have mutual interests. You see, that's how that works. We're doing things that benefit our own nation. And we work together because we got a common enemy, mutual interests. So why not? Basically, in layman's terms, I'm going to the store, you going to the store too. Let's hop in the same car. That's kind of what's going on. But with the European Union, we say, hey, can you help? We need some minesweepers right quick. Oh, we don't want to get involved. We don't want to. Oh, okay. Meanwhile, we give them money the same as we give the Israelis money, but it doesn't come back. We didn't give Ukraine how many billions of dollars? It doesn't come back. We give them not only money, but troops. How many thousands of troops are in the European Union from the USA and also South Korea and other parts of the world? But when we say, can we get a minesweeper? All of a sudden you want to play funny and you don't want to get involved. Oh, okay. But I'm expected to get involved when the Russian Federation is trying to take back Ukraine, which they should just have it. I mean, if it's me, I would just let Russia have it because you're going to just keep fighting for what? Like, what's the point? The land that they're going to take, let them take it. How long are we just going to keep giving them billions of dollars just to keep fighting and dying? It's just like a money machine for them or for somebody. It's not going to benefit us and we don't get anything back. But when we give the Israelis money, we get stuff back. We get the intel, we get the firepower, we get the military presence to help when we want to fight. We get the technology, the devices they create, all of that. A lot of military things are made in Israel that we use over here in the USA. We benefit from their innovation. It's a good partnership. It's not a matter of us working for them or them working for us. It's a good partnership, in my humble opinion. But yeah, shout out to the Russian Federation. Shout out to the Jays. If the Europeans want to survive, they got to improve that birth rate. Okay, you're talking about like what 1.2, 1.3. That ain't going to cut it. You're gonna have abandoned towns. There won't be anyone. There won't be enough people to maintain all these places. There won't be enough people to maintain civilization. That's why they're trying to lean heavy to AI. Now, AI, how you feel about AI? Do y'all think that AI will be the end of us? I think AI will be a thing that we use as a tool to help us advance as a people. And since people don't want to work, that's not really a thing anymore. What else are you going to do? Everything going to be automated. I don't know what else you're going to do. There's a whole thing floating around about UBI, but I don't know how that really works. It's kind of like reminding me of the minimum wage argument. You got very high wages now from the minimum wage argument, but you also get heavy inflation. So when you raise wages artificially, or if you create a floor artificially, all you're going to do is cause the market to react. The only way, in my opinion, to have a UBI system work is with you have to remove the free market. I don't see how else it works, because if you give everybody a certain amount of money just to have it, okay, then that will be the new floor. Some of us won't do anything more than beyond that UBI. They'll just take the UBI and live on that. It's like when you had the project building. When you have housing projects, government buildings, government subsidized buildings, people would pay just enough for the rent, and they won't do anything more to get more than where they are right now. You had Section 8 rent back in the day. I'm not sure what it is right now. I don't know the rates. I've not looked. But back in the day, you're talking about $5 for rent. Now, if you're paying $5 for rent, what's the point in getting the job? You have shelter. You got food, clothing, shelter, and you smoke crack all day. So why would you do anything more than that? You're going to be staying right there at that level. But if you have an incentive to go out there and get more, meaning no more government assistance, no more government dependence, then that'll drive you to be more in your life. So I don't know how they're going to do that. I don't know how it's going to work, but we'll see. Either way, I think that if you are an ambitious person, you could use AI to your benefit. It could do things for you, and you can be more productive. I think that's going to be the ultimate goal of AI. But if you're not a productive person, I don't know what the future holds for you. I'm not really sure. Yeah, I can't really call it. Duel says AI robots be better in healthcare systems since next generations are dumbed down. And most people who don't have offspring won't have anyone take care of them, let alone visit. Well, there we go. You have that right now, like in Japan, Korea, South Korea, where you get a lot of old people because you're living in a place where it's beautiful. Some of these blue zones like Okinawa. Shout out to Okinawa. Hey, I got to go out there. It looks so beautiful out there. So beautiful. And the people in Japan, love y'all. You guys are the best. So, hey, you heard it here first. I'm going to Okinawa. Having me a blast. Anyway, I'm going to the whole Japan. That's the goal. I'm gonna go to Japan and just be there. But anyway, they have an issue with so many elderly people and not enough people who are able to take care of them. So they got robots and stuff in these nursing homes, in these hospitals, caring for patients, because who else is going to do it? There's no human beings available to do it. So that'll be a thing. That will most certainly be a thing. And as robotics gets better and better, the androids they're going to create will be better and better. Now, I don't know what that means for humanity. I don't know how that really bodes well for us, but we'll see. We shall see. Okay, and I think it'll take some kind of cataclysm for that to reverse, because people have no incentive to have any children right now. They can pretty much just, they could be on their phone, they can work, they could just do whatever without having to have children. Back in the day, you had to have kids. I mean, you had a farm you had to work on, a 90% farming society, agrarian society. You had to have kids to work on the farm. But now Ain't no more farming. Well, there is, but not enough for people to really make a living in the USA if everybody did it. So people just kind of wing it. And there's not enough of a need for the children, which is why Europe is pretty much done, because what they're doing, rather than investing into AI and having robots do things, they're going to bring in the entire third world, which will make them be the third world as well. You cannot have a first world place with third world people unless you educate them to get to a first world level. But without that, you're going to have, if you bring in a bunch of guys from West Africa, it'll be West Africa. If you bring in a bunch of guys from India, it'll be India, because that's their culture. That's what they want to do. And what else are you going to do about it? And again, especially if there's no education to get them ingratiated into a modern way of living. All right. But shout out to you guys. I appreciate y'all. Hey, the AI coming for everybody. The AI coming for influencers. The AI coming for anybody. But I think what has to happen is you have to understand how to adjust and make these tools work for you. Yeah, I've embraced it. Some guys don't want to embrace AI, but I've embraced it. I made a lot of these clips and stuff with AI. Like, you just got to kind of understand what's going on. There's always been shifts in technology since I've been a young person. When I first came out, there was no, when I first started making money on the interwebs, a lot of that stuff that's available right now was not available. There's so many tools that make things easier that were not available 20 years ago when I started, that some would just think that what they were doing at that time, it's like, I have to adjust. I can't do that anymore, so now I'm going to do this. And you have to adjust. You can't just stay stagnant in what you're doing. That's just the way it is when you're dealing with technology, when you're dealing with a thing that rapidly changes. If you just planting tomatoes for your whole life, you could just do that the same way for the most part. Maybe you get a new machine that helps you. Maybe you get a new variation of seed that will be better for your crop. But ultimately, you planting tomatoes. You're not really doing anything that requires a lot of change. But if you're doing something that is technically involved, there will be change. That's just part of the game. And you have to be able to be ready for that and see the change before it happens and adjust to it. It's very simple. But some would just see that as their job is not going to be there and they're going to be taken over by AI. But I don't see it like that. I see it as a change that must be made like everything else. I've had to pivot a few times in my life doing what I was doing, or had to do it in a different way. That's just life. Very simple. Okay. Am I being duded? Am I being duded in the dude? Is that happening right now in the chat? What's going on? That's right, Taylor Langley Fitness. You have to adapt to technology. You got to adapt to it. You can't just, you can't just stay stagnant when you're dealing with technology, things of that nature. Kath Amish says soon X-ray techs will be obsolete. Hey, at one point you had the man that would come to your house with the milk, a block of ice. Those are obsolete. But as some jobs are obsolete, as some jobs are no longer there, we create new jobs. We create new ways to make a living. We grow the economy. Just because old things die does not mean that new things cannot be born. All right, hold on. Brickyard says AI will be able to handle all the bloated, useless AR type jobs. Yeah, a lot of that's going to be gone. Sandy Creek says AI ain't coming for me. LOL. AI itself ain't fixing the air conditioner. It's not going to take over the trades. The illegal aliens taking over the trades Americans should be doing. Exactly. 100%. And the thing about it, like, a lot of these trades that are in high demand are not necessarily difficult to do. They're not necessarily difficult, but the thing is, do you want to do it? Do you want to get your hands dirty? People do things. I see all kinds of trades that happen every single day that are not that difficult, but people don't want to do it. Okay, delivery driving, truck driving, stuff like that can be difficult if you got a really big rig and you hauling heavy weight. But a lot of guys are doing local deliveries in a small little box truck. It's not difficult, but people don't want to do it. So it's there, it's available. Do you want to do it? Now, maybe you have AI that can deliver some stuff, but AI can't necessarily stock a shelf at this point. So there's still some things that AI cannot do. And even if you have things that AI can do, it's not necessarily a bad thing. So let's say you have a business where you just do little short deliveries of items to a store, you stocking up shelves and stuff like this, you can use the AI to help you with that process. It can help you get leads. It can help you do invoicing. It can just be a tool you use to replace employees so you can make the money for yourself. And anybody else who may have been an employee can do the same thing for themselves. That's the way it's supposed to be. That's the way it's going to work, in my humble opinion. Brickyard says, I do sawmill work. It's pretty physical, but pay and overtime is nice. There you go. Shout out to you. Stephen S.S. Tiger says, I like the 1984 book in the background. Thank you. I read that book in 1984 in the communist country. Warning seated. Yeah, for sure. That's got to be crazy to read that book in 1984 in the communist country. That's got to be very eerie, an eerie feeling. Kath Amish says, only specialized x-ray techs will have jobs, so that means no small talk. There you go. Wildlife is Rough says, Trump did not tell us to China. He's only been in 5 years, but blame him for what all the Democrats did, insane in the brain. That's right. Duel says, do you feel like if you stuck with graphic design, you wouldn't be where you are now? And if you did, how would you use AI as a tool for that career? Well, with graphic design, I don't know. Like, I thought that I was pretty much done with it. I was going to do something else anyway. I was going to be a firefighter. I was going to do both. I was going to be a firefighter and a graphic designer. And then I was going to YouTube as a little part-time thing. I had no idea I can do this full time. That wasn't even a thought in my mind. I was like in my early 30s. I had no idea. But I could have kept doing it as a side job. I think that AI could help me do things a lot easier. It would have been easier because now I have tools to help me cut pictures. To cut one picture might have taken me 20 minutes, but now I could do it instantaneously. A lot of things, mobile apps. It's easier now to make these things that I did back then than it was back then. So I would have been a lot better at my job, in my humble opinion. For a select group of people, what I was doing toward the end, I was doing more consultation because if all they want is just a thing made, a design made, they can just go on Fiverr or they can just use the AI. I've seen some bad designs made with AI, these little templates they use, but it don't matter because they got it. And that is the issue I was facing back then. People were just putting up whatever on the Instagram and it didn't matter because people were looking at it and it served the same purpose. So what I really got into was the consultation from top to bottom. If you got a business and you need an online presence, I could do search engine optimization. I could do your website. I can do anything. That was my specialty. So if I stayed there, I would be okay. And I think over the past few years, I would have grown because I got more tools to help that do a lot better. And I think that if you're out there right now in the digital space, just try to figure out a way to use these tools to your advantage. All right. But shout out to you guys. I appreciate y'all. We got some videos. I know I'm talking a lot, but I did not catch y'all last Wednesday, so I'm making up for lost time. But if you like what you're hearing so far, get a video with thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. And thank you, JV. Subscribe to Uncle ABL. I am putting videos over there. So if you like that kind of relationship kind of content, that, other lifestyle kind of content, go to Uncle ABL. Check me out on the Instagrams, on the Instagram and YouTube for Uncle ABL. And of course, the links for everything will be in the description. Okay. Rex Rocker says AI is not death for everyone. Not yet. Right now, mostly a tool and does help you, but you need to check the work and know what you're doing. Tech jobs, many are okay. Yeah. You got it. It's a tool. It's not at this point to totally replace people in many ways. You got to just use it as a tool. That's going to be the main thing that you got to do. All right. But shout out to you guys. I appreciate y'all. If you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. Yes, I am from Virginia, P City. Oh, y'all know. y'all got it already. Yes, indeed. But shout out to you guys. And also, you guys are, of course, the very first sponsor. Shout out to y'all. But also, shout out to my other sponsor, patriotpost.us, your best source of news and information. Then link will always be in the description box or visit patriotpost.us. Don't let ABL send you. Go to ablmerch.com. We got the hats, the t-shirts, stickers, hoodies, mugs, and more right there on the website, ablmerch.com. Also, please go to the regular website, anthonyblogan.com. That is ANTHON by the letter B, LOGAN.com. There you'll be able to find an article for each long form video I produce. And in each article, we got sources from the left, from the right, from the center, from the Democratic, Republican, politically agnostic, local, national, international, whatever you want. I got it right there on the front page of the website, anthonyblogan.com. Also, go to the contact page of the website, anthonyblogan.com/contact-us. There you're able to find my email address, my email address, my UPS box, of course, my social media accounts, my Facebook, Instagrams, Twitter, never going to call it X, TikTok. All my links are right there on the contact page of the website, anthonyblogan.com. And shout out to y'all TikTok. Hey, I see y'all on TikTok. Shout out to y'all. Shout out to y'all. Hey, I'm there. I'm there. We putting out stuff. You're liking it. Okay, we there. But all my links are right there on the contact page of the website. If you ever think that you're being contacted by someone who is me, it's not me. If you don't email me on my email address, contact@anthonyblogan.com. And if I don't respond, it's not me. You're being scammed. Don't do it. It'd be a dude over in India named Hajip or something like this. It'd be a dude over in Eastern Europe, Boris, Vladimir, whatever. Okay, Rocky and Bullwinkle. It'd be one of them. Or it's going to be a dude over in West Africa playing like he's me, but he's not me, because the voice is going to not to match. The voice will not to be correct. It will not be me. I don't sound like this in my regular time. Please, you must understand, it's not me. So don't fall for the scams. Don't fall for the nonsense. But I got a few videos for you right here. Now, Thomas Massie, Epstein files. Can I just say something right quick? There's a few things that I hear in a political space that causes me to make a judgment about you. If you talk about Epstein files or Israel or something like this, I'm thinking, okay, either you're a very young person and I give you a pass, because if you're young, you like in your 20s, okay, I give you a pass, because at one point I was young and dumb too, so it's okay. So either you're very young or you're just a low information person. Either way it goes, I'm going to judge you. And I kind of just roll my eyes. I'm like, oh, here we go. Here we go. This type of, is, to me, that kind of talk is like blaming the white man. And I said it before. I said it years ago. I always say it. What's my thing? The Jews are the white man's white man. So when you want to get real woke and you say, you know what? I'm getting older now. I'm 25 years old. I'm a full-grown adult. My front lobe is developed. I'm not going to say the white man's problem anymore. I'm going to say it's the Jews. That's what I hear. It's an upgraded version of blaming the white man. And the funny part is that they white too, but I don't want to go down that road. ABL, they're not white. Oh, okay, what are they? Are they Asian? Are they black? What are they? Oh, okay. Never mind, don't worry about it. Just like the Irish weren't black too, right? I mean, they weren't white. Oh, okay. Anyway, Thomas Massie, 6 months ago, talking about Epstein files. They're not white, ABL. They're da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da. They got Tay-Sachs. All right. Go ahead. Anyway, Massie, 6 months ago.
We will know when the Epstein files are released, because men will go to prison. And until that happens, the justice hasn't been served. There's no way they're going to cover up the crimes that have been perpetrated on 1,000 victims. So names of rich and powerful men will get released when the president signs this bill. We know when they're out because we know what some of these lists, who some of the men are. I don't have the names in my head right now. The ultimate thing that we could do is read the names on the floor of the House, and that could happen, but what needs to happen is the FBI needs to release these names.
Is that something you might do if he resists this, if the DOJ releases this? Could you go to the floor and read these names?
We absolutely absolutely would do that. Marjorie would do that. I would do that. There are Democrats who would do that. We will.
You're not gonna do nothing. You just talking for nothing, for no reason. Now you lost. Imagine that. And you know what? People see that and they don't like it. They're like, so they voted against you, bro, in your own district. That's what happened. Now, here he is being asked about always voting against what Republicans need. Always being the vote that gets in the way.
So, Congressman, In the last 2 weeks, you repeated AOC's talking points on Venezuela, and Jasmine Crockett has retweeted you. When will you change your party affiliation to Democrat?
I thought you knew. I vote with Republicans 91% of the time.
And
the 9% I don't, they're taken up for pedophiles, starting another war, or bankrupting our country.
So Congress.
Okay, there we go. So that's what he says. But see, let's talk about what he voted against. Bro, you voted against the big, beautiful bill, which was all of Trump's agenda for his second term. You voted against that. You voted against the border wall and border funding 2019. You voted against no tax on tips. You voted against no tax Social Security. You voted against quite a few things that is part of the Trump agenda. And that's the point. You could say you voted 90% of the time with Republicans, and that's fine. But these things you vote on are largely inconsequential. Things that matter, but it don't matter as much as some of the bigger things really need you on. When the votes don't really matter, you show up. But when they do really, really matter, then you know where to be found. And you can't play a team sport like that if you're not going to play with the team. You're just in the way. So it's time to go. It is time to go. Okay. Now here is Ed Gallrein.
The race tonight.
Ed Gaulin is the man who won the GOP primary in Kentucky's 4th district. That's up there in the northern part of the state, Kentucky, that area. Also by Louisville.
The winner of the race tonight is not so much Ed Gaulin. I'll come back to that. But it's the Republicans of Kentucky Congressional District 4 and their families who I will be a champion for in Washington. They're the winners. I want to thank a few folks, and bear with me, I'll keep this short. I want to thank President Trump for his support, his endorsement, and his counsel as I navigated this campaign, which is a journey of unto itself, and for his courageous leadership of our nation at this critical time. I want to emphasize that, this critical time and juncture in history. Thank you, Mr. President.
All right, there we go. So Ed Gaulin with his acceptance speech after beating Thomas Massie. And here's Massie with his shtick. Oh, the Jews. Everybody goes crazy.
I would have come out sooner, but I had to call my opponent and concede, and it took a while to find Ed Gaulin in Tel Aviv.
So I'm saying, okay, I had to concede, but he was in Tel Aviv, so I couldn't find him. You know, and then the crowd's going crazy. He had a big smile on his face. I predict that he's going to do that same little trick that he did right there on a lot of different podcasts. And, hey, where do y'all think his first post-loss podcast appearance will be? Where's he going to go? Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson. It's like tomato. That's right, that's on Globetrotter. Tomatoes at the screen. Where will he go for the first podcast stop? Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson. What would he be doing? Dave Smith, one of these guys. Hey, it's good to have support from people online. You can parlay that into something else, but not being in that particular part of the country. That just didn't really go well with them. Now we got Big Rand out there, Rand Paul in the wild, I suppose with his wife at some kind of function, being asked about Thomas Massie's loss.
Senator, just quickly, do you have any reaction to Massie's loss? No? Senator, just quickly, do you have any reaction to Massie's loss? No?
So yeah, he's not really worried about that. You know, he's like, nah, I'm checking my head. Nah, look, people in the background dancing their hind parts off. Look at that right there. Hey, they're out there having a little shindig. Hey, waving. Yeah, I've been at little functions like this out here in Tennessee. And, you know, it's like a social. You can eat, walk around, talk. You know, yeah, I've been places like this. You're not trying to talk about nothing political or get interviewed or nothing like that. You're just having a good time out on the town with your lady. So, yeah, shout out to Rand Paul, though. I like Rand Paul. But some things that he may say, I may not always agree, but I like Rand Paul. But Thomas Massie, I don't like this whole little thing he's doing, trying to be cute, trying to get some attention, trying to become podcast famous. It's like, bro, just serve the people in your position in Kentucky's 4th. Don't be out here trying to be, funny enough, trying to be Sam Rothstein from Casino, trying to be the star of the show, trying to be in the limelight, trying to be on television. But anyway, this is going to be Scott Jennings. Now, Scott Jennings is from Kentucky and he lives in the district. And this is going to be on CNN.
You raised a good question about the people who voted for Trump. As a voter in this district, let me stand up for my people. These people voted for Donald Trump. They also voted for Massie on the expectation that he would help Donald Trump enact his agenda. He stopped doing that, and it's pretty simple. They decided to get a congressman who will help him enact that agenda. It's easy to overanalyze this. The bottom line is they love Trump. They love his agenda. Tax cuts, border security, you name it. Massie got off that team, and they wanted to put someone on the team who would help the president. It's pretty simple. So you raised.
There it is. So, again, that's Scott Jennings. He lives in Kentucky. He's a Kentucky voter, and he's saying, hey, the people love this district. They voted for Trump and Massie, thinking that this is going to be a good combination. Okay, Massie, we're going to put you in there. Trump, we're going to put you in there. And the agenda that Trump says, we want you guys to get that accomplished. But then when one of the guys you sent is not doing what you asked, okay, we're going to vote differently. This is why in Virginia, you have that 2-vote rule. Remember the whole thing about the what did they want to do to the Constitution? They wanted to amend the Constitution. They wanted to do the redistricting. And in order to redistrict, you had to amend the Constitution, but you got to vote twice to do any sort of amendment to the Constitution in Virginia. You vote one time, just as normal. And before you vote for the second time, there must be an intervening election because the people who are voting must see what you did to see if you deserve to be there. And that will just keep you in check. Okay, if I vote the wrong way, if I do the wrong thing, I can get removed from the seat. Same thing with Thomas Massie. You voted the wrong way, you did the wrong thing, you got removed from the seat. As simple as that. And of course, people talk about the money that was raised, but again, $32 million, that's a total, not just for Ed Gallrein. That's a total. It was pretty much half and half spent on both. Now, here's J.D. Vance talking from October of last year, 25, about Thomas Massie.
I think the problem with Thomas, and I've told him this in private, and now I guess I'll say it in public, is it's one thing to disagree with the party on a particular issue. It's one thing to have your independent stand on a number of questions. And by the way, some of the stuff where Thomas Massie has been independent against the Republican Party, I've agreed with him with. Thomas and I worked together during 2023 where I was trying to stop the limitless flow of American money to Ukraine, and Thomas was one of the people I was working closest with it. But that's one thing. Being independent, having your own opinions is one thing. Voting against the party on every single issue, you're eventually going to make too many enemies. And that is the problem that Thomas has had. It's not one issue. It's not 3 or 4 issues. It's that every time that we've needed Thomas for a vote, he has been completely unwilling to provide it. That is why the President of the United States has trained his ire on Thomas Massie. It's because we can never count on him for some of the most difficult votes. I wish that weren't the case. I say that as somebody who's known Thomas well before I got into politics, but politics is politics, and when you always vote against the party, you can't expect the party to actually back you. I think
there it is. So shout out to J.D. Vance. Y'all know J.D. from Ohio, not far from Cincinnati, which is Massie's district. So they probably live like kind of close to each other for a while, for a long time. So shout out to JD. He pretty much put it in plain terms. Okay, now let me keep rocking here. Let me keep rocking. Here is Rokana talking. And Rokana, for some reason, is Thomas Massie's bestie. Stone Cold Stomp Down California Democrat. That's your bestie? Oh, okay. Hey, let's just watch this.
You think they ousted Mr. Massie because he was leading on the Epstein files? They ousted him because he was leading on the Epstein files and because he was leading the push against the war in Iran and because he was leading the push saying we can't give another dollar to Israel while it's violating human rights.
I think you need another Republican partner to push forward if this goes to next Congress.
Well, Thomas is still here for 7 months. I wouldn't underestimate him. Look, we're going to do a lot of things in these next 7 months to hold the Epstein class accountable, to stop these foreign wars. But there were voters under 45 who voted for Thomas at over 30%. Let me tell you something. These young voters, they're done with the old guard. They're done with lectures about how AI is going to be good. They're done with people who want to just give money to foreign wars. And we welcome them in a new populist Democratic Party, a Democratic Party that's going to say, we're done with the establishment. We're a party that's against the Epstein class. We're a party that's for taxing billionaires. We're a party that is against foreign wars. We're a party that doesn't want more aid going to Israel, that wants jobs programs here. This is going to be the movement that helps build a majority in this country. And people have had it with the establishment of both parties.
So there you go. Ro Khanna, again, stone cold stomped down California Democrats saying, hey, we're trying to recruit Democrats. You said it right there. You're not even trying to hide it. We're trying to recruit Democrats. Hey, if you don't like what is going on right now with Republicans, come to Democrats. But you see, that message may sound good to an uninformed, very young person who knows nothing. But once you go to California, you're going to see those policies in action. You can say whatever you want. You can tell me anything, but when I go to California and I see what the liberal policies have done, I don't want that. Yeah, I don't want that. Even if I was a dissatisfied Trump voter, which I'm not, but even if I was, I would not want what you got as an alternative. I'm gonna pick the lesser of two evils every single time. If I have no choice, if I got guns in my head and you say you got to pick one, and I can't just abstain, I'm gonna pick the one that's not as bad as the other. In this case, I like what we got from the Republican Party. I saw somebody put a comment. I saw that, bro, talking about accelerated inflation and high gas prices, blah, 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 blah. I mean, like you talking about things that we told y'all was going to happen, but a lot of the left did it anyway. You have these extended lockdowns and stupid stuff, raising wages, all kind of stuff. The thing with the Iran war, I feel like it had to happen. It was a matter of time. And all these presidents talk about it. Let's talk about that just right now since I'm right here. All these presidents spoke about Iran, talked about doing it, wanting to do it, hinting to do it, but nobody had the courage. I'm about to say something else. No one had the courage to do it until Trump, because they knew it was going to be a temporary disruption in our country. They knew that. But it had to be done, because the longer you kick the can down the road, the worse it's going to get when you have to react to whatever they got. Because they build a nuke and they hit the J's or they hit some of them oil-producing nations. If there's a nuke right there, it's over. It's like at that point, it's all over. So it won't be no more squabbling. It won't be no more nothing, because the war will be done. The war will be done. All right, let's keep rocking. Here's a video from Trump talking about, speaking about Israel and Benjamin Netanyahu. Here's something. Let's watch.
What have you said to Prime Minister Netanyahu about Iran and how long to hold off on strikes?
He's fine. He'll do whatever I want him to do. He's very, very good man. He'll do whatever I want him to do, and he's a great guy. To me, he's a great guy. Don't forget, he was a wartime prime minister. And he's not treated right in Israel, in my opinion. I'm right now at 99% in Israel. I could run for prime minister, so maybe after I do this, I'll go to Israel, run for prime minister. I had a poll this morning. I'm 99%, so that's good. But no, he's a wartime prime minister, and I just don't think they treat him well.
Mr. President, what do you do?
I think they have a president over there that treats him very poorly.
You're on the same page with him on Iran?
Yeah.
Mr. President,
what did you?
All right, there we go. So, hey, you heard from him. It's like, do whatever I want him to do. People think that it's like, I don't know. People got their own mind made up about what they think someone is or how they think things are, but it might not be that way. Okay. The main senator candidate, the main Senate candidate, Graham Plattner. Now, this guy has a lot of problems. Now, I'm going to show you something right quick. It's not, I'm going to show you anything graphic, but it's going to be something that he did that's graphic, but the act won't be shown. But I'm going to tell you what it is. So be ready for, it might be a little bit PG-13, okay? It might be a little bit PG-13. Now, I'm going to just show you this, and then I'm going to tell you what he did. But it ain't nothing graphic that I'm going to show you. So you see this graphic right here. It's just him, and it's just like a little headline. He wrote on his now deleted Reddit about going to public, like porta-johns, and, you know what I mean, a little bit of self-pleasure in the porta-john. I'm going to just leave it right there. Now, he said that the blue water in the porta-john is what really put him in the mood. It's like, bro, okay, I get it. I get it. You know, when you want like a real person, not a politician, you might get some odd things that they do or they say. But a porta-john, bro, and you put that on Reddit, like, why would you put it on Reddit? Like, if I did something like that, if that was my weird little thing that I did, I would not be like, hey, you know what I do? I go to Reddit and I just let her rip. Nah. Or the porta-john. Yeah, I go to the porta-john. I would not say that. I would not say, I keep it to myself. But your guy out there in Maine, Grant Plattner, hey, he put that on Reddit. So my question is, do you want that guy to be your next senator from the great state of Maine? I wouldn't want him to be my senator if I was living in Maine. Okay, now here he is talking to Pocahontas from earlier in this year. I'm not sure when this was recorded, but here he is talking to Pocahontas.
Yeah, I served in Iraq and Afghanistan at 4 tours in the infantry. And something that has just always bothered me my whole life, since my service, no one's ever been able to explain to me what the wars I fought in, how they improved the lives of people in Maine. Yeah. They cost trillions of dollars. We sent our sons and daughters off to take part in horrific violence. We inflicted horrific violence upon millions of civilians in these nations that we bring war to. And all of it didn't do anything for the people of Maine. Nobody's lives got better. We didn't get new schools. We didn't get new hospitals. We didn't get a system that really begins to uplift all of us. Instead, we pulled from that and we expended overseas bombing people. And it has been a deeply frustrating experience for me personally to watch it happen and to watch people in politics treat it like it's some kind of game. Yeah.
Okay, Graham. Now, I think some are going to agree with that, and I'm not saying you're totally wrong. But see, the problem, I got two things here. One thing I want to say, what this sounded like was like a therapy session, and you appear to have some issues. From what you've written and from what you've done, you have some issues. I saw you in the bar with no pants on, dancing, tighty-whities. You got some issues, bro. And the thing is, if you've done that many tours overseas, I get why you would have issues. But maybe that person should not be the senator of Maine. Maybe that person should be in recovery or some kind of, something else other than being a senator. Respectfully, because I understand guys that have been overseas and they got issues. If you have those issues, maybe public office is not for you. That shouldn't be a place where you go if you have those kind of problems. If you're in public office, you should be a guy or a girl who's really put together and sharp, not a guy or a girl who has some serious problems. That's just my humble opinion. All right. But again, that was Grant Plattner, the Democratic Senate candidate in Maine. So we got Raul Castro has formally been indicted for conspiracy to kill U.S. nationals. And how old is Raul Castro? Raul Castro of Cuba, of course, is how old? 94. 94. He'll be 95 in June 3rd. So in a few days, which is crazy, it's already almost June. Can you believe it? It's already almost June. It's in exactly 2 weeks, he'll be 95 years old. On Wednesday of the week after next, 95 years old, Raul Castro. Can I find a picture of Raul right quick so you can see? I don't know if I'm gonna get an updated picture or what's going on, but oh yeah, look at this. Look at this guy. I'm like, all right, man, he about to be dead anyway. Like, are we gonna go Maduro him? Are we gonna do the Maduro? I hope not. I don't want to see this dude get dragged out of his bed. You know what I mean? Like, if we do get him, he should just be able to come to Florida and just retire or something like that. I don't know. That might not be really good for the Cubans who live out there because this is a really sensitive subject. But this guy's, I don't even know how you still living, to be totally honest with you. But I guess when you are a communist leader and you get whatever you need, but the people don't, it's not that hard to live, is it? Anyway, this is going to be Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche announcing the indictment.
Today, we are announcing an indictment charging Raul Castro and several others with conspiracy to kill U.S. nationals.
All right, it's a lot of clapping and whatnot. I'm gonna keep moving here. People are really happy about that decision. So we have a Cuban exile talking about the indictment.
I do
in Miami. So you already know, Cuban exile in Miami giving his 2 cents on Raul Castro finally being indicted.
I do want to bring in Oscar Fernandez here with me. Nice. He left Cuba in 1961 when you were just 15 years old.
That is correct.
Tell me about what today means in the news of the indictment of Raul Castro.
It means some justice for the Cuban people. For 67 years, I'm sorry, we have been ignored by everybody. The United Nations, the Organization of American States, the European Union, everybody. So we hope this is the beginning of the downfall of the Castro regime. I'm sorry, a little emotional. And we're ready to go back and help in the reconstruction of our country. With work, with money, with investment, and with love. That has been lacking in Cuba for the last 6 decades.
Oscar, thank you so much for sharing your perspective. I know you're getting emotional because this is a huge day for the Cuban community.
It is.
You and yourself, multi-generations. What are you hoping happens next?
Well, this should be the beginning of the downfall. This should be the beginning of a liberation of Cuba with the help of the United States. See, I can no longer fight, but the U.S. is being a second home to us, truth be told. I got kids and grandkids born here in Florida and in New York, and we're ready to do our part. This administration is the only administration I'm sorry, that is trying to open the door for us. And we are not going to let this opportunity go by.
There we go. So very emotional from a Cuban exile out there in Miami talking about what the indictment of Raul Castro means for them. And I hope and pray that the Cuban people are able to get the liberation and they can move forward much better than they have been over these so many years of communism, socialism. It doesn't work. It always results in misery. So shout out to them. Shout out to the Cuban people. Now, speaking of Raul Castro, guess who back in the day, I'm not quite sure when this was, but back in the day, well, it probably might not have been long, it might have been kind of recent because I'm seeing some gray hair on Mr. Barrio, but you have Mr. Barack Obama and Raul Castro at a baseball game waving to fans.
The energy was there the minute you walked inside. It didn't take much to get the crowd going, except, of course, the President of the United States. President Barack Obama with the First Family and President Raul Castro walked out to a thunderous roar. At one point, the president gets up.
All right, there we go. So that's your Barrio. Now my question would be, what's the support like for Raul Castro out there in Cuba? It can't be that good because when you see the conditions of Cuba, it's not like he's done a good job. So y'all let me know. If you know more than I do, let me know. So let's keep on rocking and rolling. If you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Here's Trump talking about Castro being indicted.
We have Cuba on our mind. Very important. Been a lot of problem for a lot of years, and this was I think it was a very big moment for people that, not only Cuban Americans, but people that came from Cuba that want to go back to Cuba, people that want to see their family in Cuba. I think this is a very big day, very important day. We have Cuba on our mind.
All right, there we go. So shout out to Trump. Orange Man good. All right, and shout out to the New Yorkers if you're watching. All my New Yorkers out in the I don't want to do your accent. Oh, walk in here. I love that. But anyway, we got a cringe fest with New York politicians, starting with the governor.
I'm passing the mic to someone who's protecting New Yorkers' rights and freedoms.
And I'm passing the mic to someone who has given New York farmers and agricultural producers a voice in Washington.
I'm passing the mic to someone who has spent her career blazing trails for badass women leaders.
I'm passing the mic to someone who secured free school meals for all New York students and put money back into New Yorkers' pockets.
I'm passing the mic to someone who always stands up to Trump's attacks and calls out his BS.
That's all of us.
All right, there we go. So, yeah, New York. I don't see the future is not too bright if you got those nut jobs out there representing you. Okay, it's not too bright. Now, I think I spoke about the video of AOC when she's talking about she wants the North to pull up the South. So I want to play that right quick. And she's behind some bulletproof glass apparatus. Is it that serious for AOC? A bulletproof glass, like you the Pope or something? Is it that serious? Is it that crazy where you at? But anyway, let's watch.
To make sure that we all understand that Montgomery is not alone. That you all are not alone. And for all of those watching today, when they ask, what do we do in this moment? I feel helpless. What action can I take? It is time for the North to pull up to the South. It is time for New York to pull up to Alabama. It is time for all of us to come to Georgia, to Louisiana, to Tennessee, to Mississippi, and let them know exactly what they have uncorked with this injustice. They think they can draw us out of power. They do not know the sleeping giant that they just awakened. To make sure.
Okay, now I suggest you don't pull up to the South. I suggest you don't come to Tennessee, Alabama, Mississippi, Texas, Florida. Just stay in New York, okay? We know you love Florida. That's your favorite spot. If you're a New Yorker, you love Florida and North Carolina. We know where y'all are, okay? But how about don't do that? And if you are going to come here, don't pull up, as you say. Don't be aggressive with it. Just come be part of our culture, because your culture, where you at, doesn't work. That's why you guys are losing people. You're losing house seats because people don't want to be in the North as much. They want to be down in the Red Kingdom. So don't come down here. Don't pull up. Don't pull up on me. You know, I don't want no smoke. And I definitely don't want your politics that don't work in your particular neck of the woods. So yeah, stay up there, AOC, in your bulletproof glass, little portable closet mirror type situation you got going on. But anyway, let's keep on rocking. And we got a sinkhole in the Bronx, New York, and you got a whole bus going through it. Now, the thing about New York, I'm going to turn this sound off. Do I need this sound? I don't think I do. I'm going to turn the sound off. The thing about New York is that you have a lot of crazy potholes that are so crazy that you could see straight through the ground. Like, it'd be a pothole that's like above something else. Like you can see straight through the ground. It's just look at this. I mean, you probably had some cones that were trying to cover it or something like that. So rather than pulling up to the South, you should pull up to the Bronx, AOC. Ain't this where you from? Jenny from the block, ain't this you, AOC from the Bronx? Okay, how about you go out there and fix these crazy potholes that swallow the whole bus? You had kids on board. You had 39 kids on board and all of that. And your infrastructure is crumbling so much, you got buses just disabled. Pull up to Bronx and fix that. Pull up to Manhattan and fix that. Some of these spots you got out there, fix that. Hey, fix them rats and roaches you got that's like terrorizing the entire place. Okay, now I got a good story. This man with a life sentence was granted clemency by Trump in 21 and turned life around and is graduating from SMU. Okay, I just happened to see this. I'm going to just put it up for you guys right quick. All right, let me put it up, and here we are.
Enrolling in Dallas College, I graduated from...
Let's start from the top.
3 years after enrolling in Dallas College, I graduated from SMU with a degree in economics and public policy.
That is not Chris Young, the story. He'll tell you his life is a story of
resilience, resolve, and redemption.
Growing up in Clarksville, Tennessee with real poverty.
Clarksville, that's where old boy's from, Chuck the Builder. Okay, imagine that. Hey, rather than going and harassing people for living Chuck the Builder, you could be doing what he's doing and being an actual guy who is productive and law-abiding. But maybe when you go to prison, you could come out and you could be redeemed like he has. Let's start from the top.
3 years after enrolling in Dallas College, I graduated from SMU with a degree.
Oh, I saw that. Hold on. Before I begin this again, I saw that where the lady was stepping out of her vehicle in New York and fell in the manhole and died. It's crazy. They said it was a multi-axle vehicle that had knocked the manhole loose. Okay, you want to put it back? you want to have it to where the manhole can't just pop up off the ground like that? Anyway.
3 years after enrolling in Dallas College, I graduated from SMU with a degree in economics and public policy.
That is not Chris Young, the story. He'll tell you his life is a story of
resilience, resolve, and redemption.
Growing up in Clarksville, Tennessee with real poverty, without real parenting.
I didn't have a biological father. I've never met him, never even seen a picture of him. And my mother suffered from extreme crack cocaine addiction.
As a teenager, Chris began selling the same drugs that held his family hostage.
I didn't sell drugs because I thought it was cool. I sold drugs because I thought it was the thing I needed to do to escape poverty.
When he was arrested at age 22, it was his third time busted for drugs. Because of federal 3 strikes and you're outlaws, Young knew his future was fixed.
I was sentenced to 2 life without parole sentences.
Federal Judge Kevin Sharp, bound by sentencing guidelines to send Chris Young away, was also bothered to put Chris away forever.
I didn't know that at the time, though. So I had to go in prison and start my prison bid just knowing that I had 2 life sentences and that I had to figure out a way to get out. And one day, I happened to get the news that Judge Sharp was resigning in protest of not only mandatory minimums, but specifically to help me get released.
That story began a chain of events that included news coverage.
Taylor Dovin, a journalist, chose to share the article with Brittany and asked Brittany, if possible, could she help me?
Dallas attorney Brittany K. Barnett, who has worked to secure new freedoms for more than 70 people.
To have former federal judge Kevin Sharp step down and link arms with me in this fight for Chris's life, literally, was beyond amazing.
The story got the attention as well of Kim Kardashian, who also lobbied for Chris Young. President Trump, on the last day of his first term, granted clemency to Chris Young.
How'd you feel? Ecstatic, surreal, exhilarating. I was speechless.
That was 2021. From prison in Beaumont to enrollment at Dallas College and then on to SMU. Now graduating, and with a memoir to be published in August, he hopes his life speaks volume.
Very good story. Now, all I got to say to anybody who is granted the opportunity to get freedom, that's you were condemned forever. You were finished. You were toast. Life is over with. If you're granted that freedom, take advantage of it. Any misstep, you go into prison and you deserved it because you were given a lot of chances and you keep blowing them. So stay on the right path. keep doing the right thing. To that dude, Chuck the Builder, I say the same thing to you, bro. Once you got out of prison in 20 years or whatever, don't go back. Don't go back. Just stay out. Stay free. Okay. Now, speaking about going to the penitentiary, this is one of the people who was involved with the Austin, Texas shootings. 17 years old. There was 12 shootings in one day, or like from Saturday to Sunday, 12 shootings. He's on an ice hold now. Okay. His name, Christian Mondragon. That's him right there. Here in the country illegally. Imagine that. Imagine that. And we say all the time, look, it's not about being racist. It's not about being anything like that. It's about, we cannot have these kind of people terrorizing our cities. We just can't have it. If you want to be a terrorist, if you want to be someone who is doing this kind of behavior, you need to just go. You need to go somewhere else. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know where you got to go, but you can't be here. You can't be here. And the best way to weed them out is to say, if you're here illegally, you got to bounce. He looks totally crazy, our Black Pearl. Totally crazy. Of course. Okay, now, that was in Austin. Of course, there was a shooting in San Diego. Very sad. I put the video up of them. Oh, it was they live streamed the shooting. I put some of that video up. I didn't show anything graphic, but it was taken down by YouTube. And I had it on Facebook and all of that, but I took it down from there before they could delete it because I figured they like to follow and copy YouTube sometimes. But it's on my Twitter. If you want to see it, it's on Twitter. Twitter.com or x.com/Anthony B. Logan. Links in the box. You can check it out there. But this is a video of one of the shooters. Okay, there's music, so I'm not going to play that. And this is San Diego. The one I just showed you with the crazy looking dude, that was in Austin. This is from the San Diego mosque shooting. This is one of his TikToks, I suppose. You can see his dance, he's like cutting his wrist and stabbing himself. Now, if you see something like that on TikTok, automatically, look, if I'm on my phone and I see that on my For You page, I'm going to call TikTok. I'm going to call the federal government. I'm going to call Donald Trump. I'm going to call everybody. I'm going to call my local police department like, yo, y'all see this? Can y'all go get him? I'm not sure what can be done, but obviously that's a red flag right there. If you're doing something like that, that's a red flag. You making these gestures like you're going to hurt yourself. That's a big red flag. Okay. And it's a lot of that kind of stuff going on. A lot of these guys, I don't know, man. Like the dude, the White House correspondent shooter was in a similar kind of world, similar kind of thing. Because if you look at his online avatars, it looks something like this. You see these little avatars right here? And that one right there, this little anime girl type stuff. The other guy had that same kind of thing happening. Okay, these guys just don't have any life experiences beyond their social media, and they get drawn into a world that's not real. If they had real experiences, then maybe they wouldn't be behaving this way. Now, a lot of these guys may identify as incels and not getting any kind of women or whatever. But what you don't want to do is get women like this. You don't want to be, what's the other guy? Luigi Mangione, the guy who shot the UHC healthcare shooter. These are the Mangione girls, the Luigi girls or the Mangionistas. So whenever Luigi Mangione goes to court, these women, there's a bunch of these women, they follow him from court to court date. And it's the same thing with the Manson girls, the Ted Bundy girls, a bunch of these girls. And they got a lot of these dramas they put on Netflix. What was that? The Menendez brothers. I saw a lot of y'all women, y'all like them boys. I saw y'all. Y'all like them boys. And I saw, I'm not a Netflix guy, but I have Netflix and guess I want to watch it occasionally. But I don't watch anything on there really. I was just looking on there one day. If I have Netflix on, because I got company at the house, I don't watch it on my own. But one day I turn it on like, hey, what's on Netflix? I'm scrolling and then I see, this is back when they had the documentary for the Menendez brothers. And the picture you can see, it was like trying to be real handsome and all this kind of stuff. I know that picture was done on purpose to entice the women who like that kind of behavior, who like that kind of that kind of aesthetic for a man. I guess men are the same way. They like some of these OnlyFans girls. The women, they like some of these murderers. But anyway, here are the Luigi girls. Let's start from the top with some sound that might help.
Brian Thompson. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I want to say. Brian Thompson, his mom. That lady who said something on Inside Edition. I said what I said. I don't give a fuck.
And Brian Thompson, of course, is the CEO who Luigi Mangione killed.
His children are better off without him. They need to learn to not be like their dad and enjoy the blood money, kids.
I mean, hey, yeah, you don't want to attract that right there into your life. Yeah, you don't want that, because that kind of person, yeah, somebody said it, crazy attracts crazy. Yeah, there you go. A person like that, hey man, you woke up one day with a knife right here in where were you last? Gun right there, knife right there. You don't want that kind of behavior in your life. Now, Jeff Bezos. Hey, I got a question for you guys. Do you think that Jeff Bezos is going to run for president in 2028? I see it happening. He might not want to, but I see it happening. Jeff has done some work to his face, like his wife has. He's done some work to his face. I see some lip stuff going on. He got the beard happening. He looks different. When I first saw this video, I was like, who is that? It says Jeff Bezos in the lower third, but I'm like, that ain't Jeff Bezos. Who is this? But that is Jeff Bezos right there. Of course, the CEO of Amazon, the big dog, Washington Post, Amazon, all the above. Multi-billionaire. That is Jeff Bezos, talking about some interesting topics on CNBC with Andrew Ross Sorkin. Shout out to you, bro. You're one of the good journalists I see on television. But there was one thing he said about taxes that I agreed with. Check it out.
So people talk about, making the tax system more progressive. How about we start by having the nurse in Queens not pay taxes? Why is a nurse in Queens who makes $75,000 a year paying more than $1,000 a month in taxes? That's $1,000 a month that could help with rent or groceries or anything. And so, and by the way, do you know what that all adds up to? The bottom half of income earners in this country pay only 3% of the taxes. So, it's only 3%. We can find 3%. So we don't have, it's a small amount of money for the government, that. And really, and the more I thought about it, to me, it's kind of absurd that we're doing this. We shouldn't be asking this nurse in Queens to send money to Washington. They should be sending her an apology. It really makes no sense.
All right, there we go. So again, that's Jeff Bezos. Looking way different. What I see, his lips, he put a little bit in his lips. He did. The beard looks a little bit different. His skin looks a little bit different. He's done some work. He is getting, the way he's doing his hair, his eye looks different. His eyebrows, he's done a little bit of work. Because his wife, she's like plastic, and respectfully, but he's like, hey, can you give me your doctor? Let me get some of that work you got. Let me get some of that work you got on my face. Hey, I would never get work done. I would never. If I'm old, I'm old. It is what it is. No, I ain't even gonna dye my beard. They say you should dye your beard. If I dyed my beard, I would look much younger. But I don't know. You gotta see me in person anyway to see how I actually look. When somebody's on the internet, it's kind of hard to judge. And I guess that's the reason why people get their work done, because they're in these pictures, HD 4K and video. They want to look as good as possible on video, although they might look better in person. Without doing that, they could look good still, if you understand what I'm saying. Okay, here's Bezos on Trump talking about he's much better now in his second term than he was in his first.
When I last interviewed you, it was about 2 years ago, President Trump had just won. He was not the president yet. And I'd asked you what you thought of him at the time. And you said that you thought that he had mellowed, that he was calmer.
Yeah.
And I'm curious now, here we are.
Yeah, I still think that.
2 years later, we've had lots of we have wars and tariffs and all sorts of things that have happened since then. What do you think?
I think he has. I mean, I'm comparing him to his first term, and I think he is a more mature, more disciplined version of himself than he was in his first term. And he's again. I've worked with all the presidents. I will work with all the presidents. And I hope to do that going forward if they'll have me. But we need our business leaders to provide input into the administration, regardless of who the president is. I'm not on the side. You know what? I'm on the side of America, and that is so important. And that's where business leaders should be. It's just.
And do you think they're not?
No, I think we are, but we get perceived as being partisan or whatever. I was helping Obama every chance I could. I was helping Biden every chance I could. I still call Obama for advice. He's a very smart guy. And, and by the way, people that are, Trump has lots of good ideas, and he's been right about a lot of things. You have to give him credit where credit is due.
There we go. He sounds different too. Is that a clone? If I was one of these guys, I was like, oh, that's a clone. I would say that's a clone right there. It's like they got a little robotic, a little alien, replica Jeff Bezos to do interviews. Yeah, maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm tripping because he got his lips done, and the lips is like the worst thing you could do to your face because it changes your face. It makes it look crazy. And when you put a little bit of that stuff in there, I could still tell that you did that. I'd prefer you just didn't do that kind of thing. Okay, so now let's go to something a little bit different here. This guy is choosing van life over a house for $500,000. Okay, $500K house or van life? You're living in a van down by the river. R.I.P. Chris Farley.
I'm 28 years old. I once owned a house that was worth over $500,000, and I now choose to live in a van that I built for less than $25K. I no longer pay for housing. I have no mortgage, no rent. I live on a small fraction of my income, and I invest the majority of it. In doing so, I've built a multiple six-figure net worth. I am not a trust fund kid. I've never received any handouts. I grew up on a farm in rural Minnesota, and from a young age, my siblings and I had to do chores, real hard physical labor. In return, we got a roof over our head, food on the table, and clothes on our backs. My first job was at Domino's Pizza. I started learning about computers at home. I got an IT internship in high school. Went to a cheap community college for 2 years. Didn't get me very far. Got me an entry-level help desk job in IT. Worked my ass off for 10 years. Got a bunch of IT certifications, and now I make six figures. I want you to realize we live in a world that tries to get us to consume and steal our attention every waking moment of our lives. So if you want to regain control of your life and be successful, please learn about minimalism and start replacing habits like scrolling and consuming with learning and creating.
Okay, that's a great message, bro, but I wanted to see the van. I mean, I didn't want to hear you talk for that long about, you know what I mean? And that's cool, but at the same time, I wanted to see the van. That's really where I'm at with it. 25 bands for a van. Now, look, I understand the whole thing about being minimalist. I get it. I 100% get it. But a van, bro, and then is it just you? Do you have children? Do you got a wife? Spencer Pratt and his little trailer talking about something, I live here. No, you don't, bro. Your wife and your kids live in Santa Barbara, where you live too. But anyway, if you want to have a family, you got to have a home, a stable place to actually be. A van down by the river, that ain't really where you want to be. The safety is going to be an issue. If you got a storm or you're not moored to the ground, it's like living in a trailer. That can be dangerous. Being from Virginia, where you got storms, you got hurricanes, trailer park is going to be the number one place to get hit and get damaged really bad. They say first, evacuate right there because it's going to be where a lot of your damage happens because you don't have anything moored to the ground. All you got is a vehicle on the ground, basically, with a trailer, or in this case, a van. But if you got a nice van and you got some amenities, then it's okay. I don't know if I could live in the van though. I've been in somebody's home that was I don't know if it was a van. I think they had a trailer in the back of their truck. So it was like that. But I couldn't live in nothing like that. It's like being in your car all the time. Unless I'm a truck driver, I can't do nothing with that. I need to have at least a small house. 1,000 square foot, that's enough for a single person. But in your van, I don't know. What would y'all do? Would you trade your home that is worth $500,000 to go live in a van down by the river? R.I.P. Chris Farley. But would you do that? Some of y'all have done it. What was your experience like? Okay, let's keep on rocking and rolling. Hold on. Excuse me.
Male.
This is going to be really funny. Okay, so you have trans men telling about their experience as men. So now you have women, let's just say it for what it is. You have women who are experiencing life looking male. So what's their experience like? Because, this is going to be a good experiment, because it's good to step foot in somebody else's shoes for a minute to see what kind of life they live. Women don't understand what men go through and vice versa. But this is going to be close as you're going to get to an experiment like this. Let's see what they say.
Male privilege is low expectations.
Since transitioning, definitely have noticed people treating me differently, and it's not something that I really like.
When I was presenting femme, the toxicness was at me. I was being catcalled or put down or spoken over, but now people assume I'm part of it. Very bro kind of culture.
I was really surprised because I was working in this retirement village, and because they thought I was like a cis straight man who was married with a child, they treated me like that. And I would get loads and loads of praise for doing the most menial stuff, like taking my daughter to school. And they were like, oh, father of the year.
I find that men treat me better, call me mate, call me bro, just kind of be a bit more friendly. I didn't get that so much when I hadn't transitioned.
People assuming that I'm in charge. Even at restaurants, people coming to me first rather than my partner. I never know what wine to drink, so I'm like, don't ask me, I've got no clue.
Or like cooking my wife dinner, they were shocked that I did the cooking and stuff. I'd never encountered that before. I didn't know, because I've been in lesbian relationships my whole life.
I was at work and a client who was a man started talking to me and my co-worker, who's also a man, and saying jokes that were a bit misogynistic, and it's like, oh, you know what I'm talking about. It's like, wow, okay, you're assuming that I agree with you. Spreading that awareness to kind of call out bad behavior and not just go, oh, well, boys will be boys kind of thing.
Okay, now look, you know what?
Never know.
You're trying to criticize what men do because you're not a man, and it's okay. But just say that. Just say that men do things that women don't do, because whatever you identify as, bro, sis, whatever it is, you're still a woman at the end of the day. Okay, you could get your beard on your face, you could do whatever, but inside of your heart, inside of your spirit, you're still female. So there are some things that you're going to do that men don't do typically. Don't just think that changing your appearance and getting on hormones makes you be one of us. You're not. It's just like me. Okay, I'm going to put on a wig and some high heels or put some hormones, and my voice changed, and then all of a sudden I'm a woman. Now, that's not the way it works. Women have a whole different experience that no matter what a man can do, he cannot duplicate it. It's just not really your thing. So they're going to view life differently. They're going to experience life differently than a man does. So yeah, tell me something. Oh, it's misogynistic. Nah, you just think differently, and it's okay because you're a woman. There's some things that men say around men that we're not going to say around women. Y'all know about going to a barbershop. Listen, a barbershop usually is all men. Usually. Sometimes there's a female barber in there, but that's not very common. And when there is a female barber, she's going to be kind of a little bit bulldaggery, or she's going to be cool to where we could talk around her and she's not really tripping. But normally in the barbershop is all men. And when a woman comes in, it's going to be a change in the conversation. A lot of times guys will stop talking, or they're not going to say certain things as to not offend the woman. In other parts of the world, things are divided between male and female. They are here as well, but not as much in other parts of the world. If you go to the Muslim countries, church service and all of that, or the mosque, whatever they got, males over here, females over there. That's kind of the way it is. But it's not quite like that here. But when you get a little bit too intertwined, trying to be saying that you're a man, you're not really a man, now we're going to have confusion. You're going to be offended. You're going to not like certain things because you're not in the correct space as a correct person. But if you were in the correct space as who you are, if you were in the barbershop as a woman presenting, we would treat you differently and you would appreciate it more than you trying to be a man and hearing things you don't want to hear. That's all. So all you did was just expose that men treat each other differently. It's okay. It's totally fine. I don't think women would appreciate being treated the same as a man for the most part. Okay, we got people graduating. What's your degree going to be in, and what are you going to do? Okay, what's your degree in, and what are you going to do with your degree when you graduate?
Hi, my name is Layla. I'm getting my Bachelor of Arts degree, and I'm going to be a grocery store bagger.
I do it too. Ready? Action. Hi, my name is Julia Irwin. I'm graduating with a Bachelor of Fine Arts, and I'm going to be a barista at Starbucks for 20 years.
Hi, I'm Liv. I'm graduating with a Bachelor of Fine Arts, and I'm unemployed.
Hi, I'm Therese. I'm graduating with a Bachelor of Arts, and I'm going to be a housewife.
Hey, I'm Liv. I'm graduating with a Bachelor of Arts, and I'm going to be a sales associate in anthropology.
Hi, I'm Estella. I'm graduating with a Bachelor of Arts, and I'm going to be a stylist at Goriana.
Hi, my name is London Boyd, and my major is BFA, and I'm unemployed.
Hi, my name is Layla.
Okie dokie. Now I hope that there was a little bit of joking going on right there. I'm not quite sure I would joke that way about my education, but I hope that they're not necessarily being too serious, although they probably are, which is very sad. Now, if you're going to be a barista or something like that, that's totally okay, because sometimes not everybody has that level of really high ambition to be more than that, which is totally fine. But I would not go to a college and waste all that money and time if all I want to do is be a barista. Or, you know what I mean? I wouldn't spend that kind of money and that time on that purpose. That's just my humble opinion. What do y'all think? Would you go to college, get a 4-year degree, and not have a certain level of ambition? If you don't have high ambition, just go work. You can go work at Starbucks right now. Like, you could be straight out of high school. Like, is there a bachelor's requirement to work at Starbucks? I should sure hope not. To pour coffee, it shouldn't be that serious. At least they know exactly. They know, but I would never. Now, what I heard right there was some people who were not very educated in what they were saying. They were having a hard time saying what they're majoring in, and what they're going to get. Someone said, I got a BFA. You mean a Bachelor of Fine Arts? Like, I'm not sure how people are graduating college with that. Now, reading cursive, and I showed the video before about being able to read the index card. Now, let's read some cursive. Read the card. So, you see what this card says? It says feeble. Okay, there's an F right there. E-E-B-L-E, feeble. Okay, feeble means weak, old, infirmed, feeble. Let's see if they can read this in cursive. Can you guys read cursive out there if you're watching?
Fuck. That John say little? Like, I think you just can't write, bro.
I wasn't taught cursive when I was younger.
Because you can't write in cursive, dog. Dog, I don't know.
What kind of handwriting is this? I can't read cursive. I ain't even gonna lie to you.
Riddle.
Hello?
What the fuck? Wait, did that just say reptile? What the fuck?
What do I say?
Give your best guess.
Pickle?
Really?
Hold on. I know that's E. That's a O. That's a B. He got some bullshit on here, bro. Just loops and shit, bro.
Loops and stuff. Loops. He got some BS on here. Loops. Anyway.
It should say GB.
What does that word say?
Oh. Feeble?
Okay, yay. Somebody finally got it. Yay. Wow. Hey, I don't know what the kids are being taught in school. I don't know. Like, we don't know how to read. We can't read cursive. Like, what are we going to do? Is that not really a thing anymore? Does nobody get taught cursive? Is everybody just on their phone just typing? So there's no cursive on your computer keyboard. So what's the point in knowing how to read cursive? Is that what's going on? So when do these kids sign anything? Do they have signatures anymore? hey, when you sign your name, do you just write it in print like real sloppy? Is it no cursive? Hey, man. Back in my day, we got taught cursive. We got taught everything. We got taught how to read very well. We had a passion and a desire to learn how to read and to really get better at reading. That was always the thing. In my hood schools, okay, 100% black schools, we were really hyper-focused on reading. Hyper-focused on reading. That was paramount. Above all was the reading, because if you can't read, that's going to be almost a death sentence. Now, in today's day and age with technology, I don't know. It might be a little bit different. But when I was a kid, if you couldn't read, you pretty much were toast. You might as well just go, hey, when I was young, if you couldn't read, you might as well just go to jail right now. Just go ahead and go to jail and then graduate in prison. That was pretty much your focus, your goal. But now you can't read basic words in cursive. And my question would be, could they read it in non-cursive? Would they even know what that meant if it was not in cursive? I don't even know. But anyway, shout out to you guys for rocking and rolling. If you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. Now, I'm going to show a video. There is a little bit of cussing, so I apologize in advance. I'm going to try to be like a little sloppy with the mute button. But this is something that I think is important for people to understand. And I'm not sure who needs to see this, but somebody needs to see it right now. Okay, let's watch this. And again, I'll apologize in advance if I can't get all the curse words censored.
Me, when I just got asked to do slave labor by the fucking United States government, I hate this fucking country. Let me tell you all a story, okay? So I'm a felon, I'm on probation. No, I'm not a criminal. Big difference, okay? And I went down to my probation office today, and I was talking to the lady, and I was like, let me get my community service hours. Like, I need them now. Like, can you assign me some community service so I can just get out of the way, right? Boom. This lady gives me a paper for the community service people. I'm reading this paper. It is for some random ass corporation. They wanted me to work for literally some random ass corporation doing retail. They wanted me to do free labor for a fucking retail company. The United States. They were about to assign me slavery for some random fucking retail corporation as community service. I literally looked my officer in the face. I got this paper. I looked at it, I was like, are you serious? And I told her, I was like, no, put me as a soup kitchen. Put me as literally anything else. I'm not doing slave labor for a fucking retail company. Are you kidding me? Like, what? I could not even believe, especially considering she's a black lady. I'm like, how on earth are you gonna pull up a slavery document, ask me to sign it? No, nigga, give me a soup kitchen. Like, are you fucking tripping?
Okay, so look, you know what? Really, that's actually kind of a blessing. They're giving you a job. You're a felon and you own papers. Okay. A condition of your release, I would suppose, that you got to be employed. So they're giving you a job, and then you can fulfill your obligation to be employed, and you can keep that job afterward. And maybe, just maybe, you can elevate to another job that pay you some more money. They're getting you into the actual workforce. So why would you not want to do that? You want to go to a soup kitchen? Okay, so you kind of want to just not be really working, kind of want to be lazy. Get a job that can actually help you in what you got going on. People don't want to work, and they just giving you a layup. Why not just take it? Yeah, I don't see nothing wrong with that. I don't see nothing wrong with that at all. Now, what you should focus on is why you were in a situation to begin with. You a felon, what you do? I'm not a criminal. Oh, okay. How'd you get a felony on your record? That's kind of hard to get a felony if you didn't do anything wrong. If you're not a criminal, okay, you could get locked up or you can get charged with something and be a misdemeanor and whatnot. But you got a felony. What you do? Have a weapon. You're trying to sell drugs. Take the job. Take the job. That's what I would do. If I'm a felon on release and I'm talking to my parole agent or whatever, yeah, give me that job. Let me do that. And then I work from there. Simple. So what do y'all think? Yeah, she's minimalist right now. Hey, she can be living in that van. I'm already seeing tape and stuff on the van. You already got kind of a bust down vehicle. You're going to be living in that vehicle soon enough. But the funny part is you can't even do that because you got to be out there working due to your status by being a felon and being out on papers. You got to maintain employment. Okay, is she still from the corporation? Is that what happened? Now, I don't know. Maybe she didn't do that because they might not want to have her working in the corporation like a retail spot if she stole. It's like, okay, you like to steal, you got sticky fingers, or I don't want to have you in here. You're going to steal it again. Okay, if you're a dope fiend or you like to steal, that's not a very good candidate for a retail position. Is that how most young people are? Is just like that? That's a shame. Now, Waffle House workers, they want $25 an hour. What happened to fight for 15? Remember, I'm old enough to remember they said fight for 15. And I said back then, and y'all said back then too, because we got brains in our head. We said back then, okay, once you get 25, once you get 15, they're going to want 25. And once they get 25, they're going to want 50, and so on and so on and so on. Because once you create a new floor, that'll be the new floor. You're not really increasing your wages. You're just increasing the level. You're just changing the number of the level that you're at. If you're working at Waffle House, your labor is only worth so much, and you cannot create more value for that labor because that job you have is not, you're not really doing anything that requires you to get paid that much more. All that's going to happen is you're going to create inflation at your job by doing that, and that inflation will echo throughout a place where the wage is $25 an hour. So at the end of it, you're going to be in the exact same place. You made a lateral move at best. And really, it's even worse when you lose your job because now you got a higher hill to climb to get back to the floor. You see? But let's watch this. Waffle House workers, $25 an hour.
We work, we sweat, put 25 on our check. I say we work, we sweat, put 25 on our check. I say we work, we sweat, put 25 on our check. I say we work, we sweat, put 25 on our check. I say we work, we sweat, we work, we sweat, put 25 on our check.
We work, we sweat, put 25 on our check. Okay. Now, how is that really going to help you? If they cut your hours, if you get 30 hours right now and they cut you to 15, you're getting paid the same amount of money. So what you going to do? Get another job? Now you got to work harder. It's like you're not thinking through. Or how about this? If you get the same amount of hours and that becomes a higher paid job, you're going to attract better people to come do that job than those who are there right now asking for the higher wage. You can't change the way the market is. If you have higher wages that are truly higher wages, you're going to attract better people, and the people who want that higher money, who need that higher money, are not going to be able to get it. So it's an exercise in futility. It's not going to work. It never works. It always ends the same way. So it is what it is. Shout out to them at Waffle House. Hey, you know what? Maybe, just maybe, hear me out. I got an idea. I see how you can extract a little bit more monies from the Waffle House. Let's have sanctioned fights on certain nights. Let's have it to where it's like a hockey game. You can fight at a hockey game if you're one of the players. So if you sign a waiver online at wafflehouse.com, you could go to select Waffle Houses. If they got a little, it'd be a fist and a neon light outside. If the fist neon light is on, like the Krispy Kreme light, if the fist light, if the boxing glove light is on outside the Waffle House, you can go in there if you got the waiver and you can fight one of the line cooks. Yeah. Now for that, okay, you get 25 an hour if you're going to be in there rumbling guests. But beyond that, nah, man, 15 an hour at best, or whatever you get in your state. Now, Los Angeles, talk about this right quick. The homeless services are crazy. People are asking, why is there so much homelessness? What are they going to do about the homelessness in California and LA specifically? Well, there's so much of it because there's a bunch of incentive to keep them there. There's a so-called nonprofit called the Midnight Mission. They got $4,926,080 in government grants in just 1 year and they provide Skid Row services. $5 million in the year. It's just one group. Now, I don't know how many employees they have or what, but there's a bunch of money to be made with homelessness in California.
In the past few weeks, we've had a lot of things happen in Skid Row. We've had a couple of suicides. We had a woman give birth in our courtyard restroom. We are administering Narcan to people daily. It's a really hard life here in Skid Row, which makes it that much more important that the Midnight Mission is here providing hope and services every day. And this Sunday on 6th Street, we're going to transform the street into the Easter event where we're going to serve 2,000 people. We're going to provide meals, giveaway items. We're going to have music, and our community partners will be here providing much needed resources and service to those in need. We still need volunteers, so please come out and help bring the hope to our community. We look forward to seeing you this Sunday.
All right, there we go. So that's what's happening out there in Los Angeles. All these services that are being provided. There's a bunch of money in that. There's a whole lot of money in that. So when they say we're going to get rid of homelessness, why would they do that? That's going to be a bad business move for many people because that's how they make their money, is through the homelessness. Now, here is Fabio. Y'all might not know who this is. If you my age or right around that, you know who this is. Fabio is, or at least at one point, was seen as like one of the most handsome men in the world, like a male model. He was like on TV a lot, I think in the 90s. Like he was like the guy. But here he is on Bill Maher talking about the situation in Europe. Obviously, Fabio is Italian, and there's a bunch of, I guess you would say, migrants, illegal aliens, whatever, all over Europe. Here he is talking about the incentives that bring them there.
Totally. It's all over Europe, I can tell you. A friend of mine is a federal judge in Italy, and he just retired because he told me, Fabio, I mean, I cannot believe where our country is today. And I said, why? What's happening? He goes like, number one, Italian citizen, they are fifth-class citizen, not even second class. They're fifth-class citizen.
Meaning?
Meaning, then everything, the government supply everything to the immigrant. Everything's for free for the immigrant. The pension plan is pretty much gone. You know, you have old people, 89 years old, they go and collect their pension plan. The government says, go home because we have no money. But in the meantime, they give free phone, free everything, free
I mean, this
home.
This is a similar complaint we hear in America.
But but this has been going for many, many, many years in Europe. I mean, our police don't want anything to do. In the middle of major city, you will have 40, 50 people from Arab country, from Africa. This is a major, during the day, major square. They get around 40, 50 guys, they get 5 or 6 women, and they rape them right there on the street. The police can be 10, 15 feet away, and the police don't want anything to do, because if they get into confrontation, then, if they beat up these people, they're going to be racist, and so on. And my friend told me, it got to a point where law, do not apply to these people. All the immigrant, they don't. They can do whatever they want. Their jail system is full, so these people, even if they commit crime, they get arrested, they get released the next day. So they commit more crime, they get arrested, they get released the next day. I mean, it's like that constantly every day. You turn the TV on, it's constantly, they get away with murder every day.
I think sometimes people.
There you go. There you have it. And that's the same situation happening over here in the USA, which is why we say enough's enough. They got to go. Part of the reason, the main reason, is they're here illegally. And last I checked, you couldn't break the law. I mean, if I'm a citizen over here breaking the law, I get punished. So why not the same thing for them? So here's Fabio back in the day. This is how I used to look back in the day. So this guy was everywhere. I mean, if you remember the 90s especially, he was everywhere. Somebody said it. Romance cover model. He was like the guy. So shout out to Fabio. Okay, still rocking and rolling. How old is Fabio right now? Fabio is 67 years old. So shout out to him. I'm not sure how old he was right there. Probably in his 30s, maybe, I would say. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe 40s. I can't tell. But yeah, he'll be 70 in 2029. Okay, let's keep on going here. Let's keep rocking and rolling. Do I have anything else? I think that's it. All right. Time to flown by. It's already 10:30. Let's get to a few calls, but I got super chats on deck as well. And if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. And where we at? Thank you to Brent Armstrong, who says, just saw a video of a huge car explosion in New York. Might have been intentional. I saw that. Now, I don't know if that was a bomb or what happened, but it could have been a bomb, could have been an internal combustion engine just having the fire, or what I think is that there was an EV that blew up. Yeah, the EV, that's probably what happened. There's a lot of these EVs that blow up all the time in China. It could have been the same thing going on right here. Who knows? Okay, thank you to Maurice91 who says, AOC behind glass is rich. Why would she ever need that? Thought those attempts were hoaxes. Thought they didn't believe in guns. Hey, that's what I'm saying, right? I thought that it was a hoax and it didn't really happen. And we don't need any, we don't believe in guns. What's going on? No Run Area 1988 says the anti-Jew rhetoric is an attempt by the Marxists to divide MAGA. They couldn't take Trump down with impeachments and indictments, so they're going inside the movement. Exactly. Big facts. Thank you to Taylor Langley Fitness, who says, I saw a young guy on YouTube live full-time in the semi for 2 years while stacking up, grinding, and running loads. Paid off his truck in cash for a $500,000 home. Hey, that's smart. Like I said, if you're going to live like in your truck, yeah, that's one thing. I get it. If you're living in the truck, you're making money in the truck. Yeah, I know a lot of guys that do that. They live in their truck. Maybe they got a camper on their truck. What they call it, a sleeper on your pickup. Or not on your pickup, on your semi. Yeah, you got a sleeper, something like that. It makes sense because you're going to park. I see guys do it all the time. Like I see, if I go on one particular exit, well, there's a few exits where they do it. Well, they'll be parked right there. Certain time of the night, it'll be that same truck right there. So I already know what it is. You probably in that truck sleeping. Yeah, and then you get up in the morning. Maybe you go to a Love's or something like that, wash your hind parts, and right back on the road, right back to the money. Yeah. Okay. Is somebody in here trolling? Fabio is not dead. Let's stop being in here trolling. Okay, let's not be weird in the chat talking about you got murdered. He did not get murdered. Okay. Let's find something better to do at 10 p.m. on the Wednesday. You understand? Rather than being in here trolling. But anyway, let's get to some calls. The number to call, 706-406-3287. Again, 706-406-3287 is the number to call. The number is always in the description box. Also, it'll be on the ticker below me on the screen before you. 706-406-3287 is the number to call. All right. But yeah, the migrant situation all over Europe, all over the USA, and it's enough. But like I said, the Europeans, they just want the labor, they want the people. But with that, they got to take a lot of the criminal activity as well. And they can't do much about it. They just accept it. They just take it as part of the risk of having these people. That's all. Greg says, I watched the podcast from across the pond. Ghost sword deletions have skyrocketed and immigrant no-go zone. A ghost sword where they have, what are they making swords on their own? Makeshift blades. Is that what's happening? Not surprising. I mean, they're devolving, going back to the days of Muhammad and everybody spreading Islam by the sword. It's the same thing going on today. You're seeing sword fights, knife fights, all of that, just like the way it was back in the day and the way it still is in certain parts of the world. Certain parts of the world, I presume they got horses and chain armor and they're still out there swinging swords. Like it's, the year 1500 still in 2026. That's the thing that the Iranian regime, when they get involved in, that kind of medieval type of activity. But it's like, hey, it's now 2026. This is not 1625. Please get with the times. The swashbuckling and all of that, we don't got time for that anymore. It's not really a thing. Brooklyn Robocop, that's a great name, by the way. Brooklyn Robocop says, I live in New York City. There was another Singh Oh, hold on. I'm reading two different things because it went past. Okay. Brooklyn RoboCop says, I live in New York City. It was an MTA EV vehicle just a few feet away from Wall Street Bull. Okay, so is that what blew up the EV? Of course. Of course. Matter of fact, hold on. MTA EV explosion. Let me look it up right quick since I'm right here. Okay. It said it's a gas-powered SUV. Oh, no. But you saying it's an EV. You live there, so I'll take your word for it. It says a vehicle caught fire and exploded into the charging bull. Let me read this right quick. I'm going to show you guys since I'm right here before we get to a call. So this is where it says, vehicle explodes near charging bull statue in New York. There's no sound on the video. Or it is sound. So RIP to the headphone users.
Araba yandı.
All right, there we go. So that's what happened out there in New York. And let me show you the charging bull statue in case you don't know what we're talking about. Once you see it, you'll know. I mean, you should know by the name, but yeah, that statue right there, infamous statue. Ain't that like the Wall Street, the bull and the bear? All right, so it happened right around 5:45 p.m. on today. So they said it was MTA vehicle, MTA EV. There you go. So yeah, those MTA vehicles will explode on you. I mean, the EVs will explode on you. The batteries, and when they explode, if they catch on fire, that flame is not going to be put out easily. You can't just go spray some water on it. It's just not really going to be a thing. It can explode and burn brightly underwater, submerged in water. Yeah, I'm not really, I like the EVs, but I think it's too early to totally adopt the technology. They're in the infancy of these vehicles. And once they get it down to a science and they get the method to store the energy safer, then I'm in. But until then, I can't do nothing with it. Right now, give me a gas-powered vehicle all day long. I'm not trying to be at the filling station, the charging station for a half hour or more. I want to put the pump in my truck, let it rock, go in the store, get some snacks, come back, and it's finished. I'm seeing guys walking their dogs while they charging their Teslas. It's like, bro, I don't got time for that. I don't have time for that. 501, you don't lie. Who am I speaking to?
Yeah, this is Robert.
All righty, what's happening?
Not too much. So I mean, Trump, he got a lot of those rhinos out, and I think hopefully, I'm not sure when, like Senator Ron Paul's time for his next election is or whatnot, but I think he needs to be primaried also, because he's one of those rhinos who kind of votes against the party.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, we don't have time for people who don't want to play ball with the team. People have their opinions and whatnot. It's okay, but we're here as part of a team. We need you to work with us. And if you're always going to be an obstacle, you're going to get in the way, then maybe you'd be better off doing something else.
Did you see the vote from yesterday from the War Powers resolution in the Senate?
No, I didn't.
So there was like 6 rhinos, including Ron Paul. I think Tom Tillis, old boy who just got primaried out, and a few other ones. They all voted yay for the War Powers Act. So it got through the Senate, but I don't know what's going to happen as far as like going through Congress. I don't think it will, but yeah, all those people they need to go.
Yeah, I mean, I hear you 100%.
I also I think it's funny, like the one guy who did the whole Epstein bipartisan legislation with Ro Khanna. Like Trump was right. A lot of people are like, oh well, he's saying that this is a witch hunt or a scam or something like that. It is, because where were they at for the past 5 years when Joe Biden was in? We never heard not one peep about no Epstein files. And Epstein, he got arrested in like 2006 or 2008, somewhere like really early before he got arrested for the second time and was in prison or in jail before he was actually about to get convicted, and he offed himself, quote unquote. So where were all these people at for the past almost 20 years about Epstein? They were nowhere around. But now all of a sudden, in the past year and a half, that's all they talk about.
Exactly. And like Thomas Massie, like they went and looked at his mentions on social media of Jeffrey Epstein. It was pretty much nothing until 2025. And then all of a sudden it became a big thing. It's like, where were you at, like you said, 20 years ago? Why is it all of a sudden now this big thing you want to talk about all the time?
Yeah, because I mean, a lot of people, they were like, oh, well, Trump is calling a hoax, but it's not a hoax. There's a lot of victims and stuff. I mean, true, granted that there was a lot of victims that were affected by a lot of young people or whatnot, but none of them people stepped forward during Biden's time, because Biden, he didn't release not a single file. Not one file was released under Biden. Not one file. I'm pretty sure they had some stuff when Obama was in back in 2008 till all the way up until 2015, 2016. I don't remember him releasing anything, and I guarantee you they had some stuff on him at that time. So I mean, Trump, he's correct about that.
Exactly. And my thing was, okay, how are you going to find something now that you didn't find 20 years ago? Like, this is not a new case. I mean, to someone might be new, but it's not a new thing. This is something that's been going on for many, many years now. So why would it all of a sudden be some brand new revelation that we didn't have before? It's just a distraction more than anything else, in my humble opinion.
So did you hear, I guess, a lot of the transgender people in red states are migrating to blue states?
I did not hear about that, but that's definitely great news. That's great news to me. I'm not mad at all. I say, let them go where they want. Let them go where they're going to be more accepted by everybody to a blue state.
Yeah, but the funny thing about that, like there was a guy that was here in Texas, like he had some kind of old job, and so he ended up leaving, and he goes to Washington State, and he doesn't have a job, and so now he's doing basically what the illegal aliens are doing. He's trying to get free money from the government and not work. He wants the government to pay for his lifestyle, and so now the government or the mayor of Seattle, she's put in a emergency resolution because they're trying to get money to I guess to house and feed these people.
Right, of course. But see, that's not going to be a very popular move to make, to get all that, to try and do that for them.
Yeah. Well, that's all I got. You have a good night.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Yeah.
All right, shout out to the caller. Great call. But yeah, it's a whole lot of stuff going on. Whole lot happening here. The Epstein files, I feel like, was a big distraction. Now, the UAP files, like I said before, I want to see the great alien. I want to see the Nordic. I want to see the gray alien. I want to see all of that. I want to get down to the you know what I mean? That's what I want. You know, the videos, these little grainy videos are okay, I suppose, but give me something a little bit more than that. That's what I would like. Yeah, that's what I want. And shout out to you guys. I appreciate y'all for rocking and rolling. If you like what you're hearing so far, y'all know what to do. Please give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. All right, we got Uncle Hotep in the building. Are you here, Uncle Hotep? Shout out to you. Or if you just randomly shout him out, shout out Uncle Hotep. All right, Super Cow, shout out to you. Dewan says, why we never seen a funeral for that healthcare CEO? Well, you don't always see people's funerals. That's not always a thing that gets publicized like that. That's a good question, but you don't always see people's funerals. I don't know why they didn't publicize it, why they didn't put it on television. I don't know what their motivation. Who knows? Who knows why they do things or why they don't do things? I can't tell. But I'm pretty sure that he did die. There was witnesses and all kind of stuff, So I don't think it's BS. I don't think it's a hoax. Some things I think could be hoaxes, but I don't think everything is a hoax. And some things that people say is a hoax, or some things that people think could be a hoax, I don't think is a hoax. Personally. That's just me though. That's just my humble opinion, and my opinion might not be the majority of all opinions. But if anybody want to call in, I have no calls. I know Wednesday people kind of they about to go to work. But the number to call is 706-406-3287. And you know what? I got a great idea for my next thing I want to do. A lot of y'all keep asking about the podcast we had back in the day with B. Tatum and everybody. I think I'm going to do it, but with a different cast. I'm going to get some of these young guys. Might get a guy that's right around my age. I'm going to do it like that way. Rather than trying to get some of the old gang back, it's going to be a new gang. We might have on some of the old gang as guests, but we're going to do something like that. So that could be what I do on Wednesday. Or I might keep this and do that. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but if and when we start that, it'll probably be on the Wednesday night. Like kind of the same way Nightcap does with theirs. Do it like that on a Wednesday, maybe another day, and we'll do it that way. So look out for that. And if you want a preview to that, on Instagram, had a couple guys on. So it might be kind of like that. So I might have like the old school hangouts we did with O'Shea and them. We'll do something like that. Definitely. And it'll be just better produced. Jennifer says, ABL, how about I react to seeing an alien? I'd be interested. I had a dream I saw an alien. I had a lucid dream where I saw an alien recently. And I was like, kind of like walking up on it like, oh, real alien. Like I said in my dream, oh, that's a real alien right there. It was like real short. I said that before on the stream. It was real short, had the Hey Arnold football head, and it was flat, like it was two-dimensional in a 3D space. It was weird. Anyway. And I'll take it to 437.
Yeah. Hey, there's a guy in the Bible. His name was Nero. And I think he disliked a certain demographic. The demographic were Christians. So by night, covertly, when people were sleeping, he lit certain portions of the township or the city on fire. And then by day, after people woke up, they said, oh, I smell smoke. Oh, I think there are fires over there. There's some on the west side and some on the east side. I wonder who did it, Nero. Nero said, must be those Christians. And then all the idiots doing monkey see, monkey do, all the sheeple, they decided to just go out and harass all the Christians. Many times, the moral of the story is, many times the people create a problem, orchestrate a problem in what psychologists call the controlled environment. Where, let me give you an example. If you go to a bar and we give you pretzels, we shove you free pretzels, lots of salt causes you to become very thirsty. And under the illusion that beer through social engineering and commercials. They misguide you into thinking that it hydrates you. It's a cool one. They even have mental association as put down a cold one. But the truth is, alcohol is in there, and it's diuretic, meaning it sheds your water, which explains why people end up going to the bathroom in many and many a times. And the more salt you consume and salty treats that you consume, the more you're going to drink. It's an orchestration. It's a manipulation, a biological manipulation, a psychological manipulation. So a lot of social engineering goes on, leading those who are not in the know to believe that poverty pimps, who say, for instance, hand out drug kits. Drug kits, in case you don't know, are these needles that are clean, but they're misused for bad deeds. It keeps the crackheads continuously consuming crack and cocaine, keeps the vicious cycle going. And when they hand out the drug kits for $75.99 per hour, they only got to work 5 hours a day, 4 days a week, and they're living large. So they're damaging people's neighborhoods. They're handing out the drug kits, but yet they're cohorting with the drug dealer who's only arm's length away. So there's a vicious cycle that keeps on going at taxpayers' expense. And the left, they like to push this illusion or great delusions with respect to saying, well, we need to help these people. But yet they're not helping. They're making everything worse intentionally so they can create what they call job creation, as AOC might also call it. Another thing, skipping over, well, although everything is interconnected, AOC, she was basically articulating that she wanted the North to invade the South. But if you, anywhere on the map, let her in and her ways and her people's ways into your city, you can expect everything to cave in like the Greek Roman Empire or the city of Sodom and Gomorrah, or New York, the ways caving in, or England. You have to be in the know and not ignorant of your enemy's devices, the Bible says, or else you're going to learn the hard way. And it's going to be hard for the people, for me, to feel sorry for the people who roll their eyeballs when I make these statements, especially on your show, or the guilty ones in the chat section who know what I'm talking about, but they hate the truth and they're lovers of lies. And by the time it's too late, it's going to be too late because people embraced a lie, didn't like the truth, they were allergic or had a hatred for the truth. So unless you want your city to end up like some of the most destroyed cities in the world, it's important to know certain cultures and know their ways. If not, you're going to be under Sharia law, and it's just not good, man. Some people are like termites. They destroy your building, your neighborhood, community, economy, everything. And that's why they've been unleashed like demons to destroy the whole world. Because out of chaos comes order. They destroy everything. And then the same politicians that let them in, not as guests, they're not guests. That means we would have to invite them. None of us, no one I know invited this, but we're paying for it, paying them to get pregnant for a living. Extra large TV screens. They live in for free in hotels. If I want to go to Disney, I have to pay $100 a night for a hotel. I don't get free movie passes, free bicycles, brand new guitar, brand new laptops, cable television to go with my 75-inch screen TV. This is a slap in the face of people whose parents worked their whole life, and we don't have anything because we're paying for them, and we can't make babies that we can't afford because we don't want to recreate poverty or remake India, Africa, or wherever. But it's a slap in our face when our money goes to Ukraine and other countries to pay for them there, paying up to, I think, $8,000 on or about $8,000 to keep open their shops and pay for the rent. We're paying for Ukrainians' welfare, in case y'all don't know. That's madness. And if more citizens knew what was really going on, maybe these things wouldn't go on. But they don't ask us permission. They just tell us, they don't even tell us. They just do these things, and that's tyrannical. That's dictatorship. And communism historically never works. As Mr. Karl Marx said in his deathbed, what he wrote in his books looks good on paper and in writing and certain shots of ice in black and white. But in reality, it really doesn't work. And those left-wing that talk about anti-racism, those are hypocrites. They love reinforcing racism. They love indentured slaves. They love control. They have a narcissistic traits where they gaslight you. They attack you, then accuse you of being the attacker. They act like victims because out of fake victimhood, they expect benefits. Learn these things, people. You may not understand what I'm saying without experience, but take it from someone who's pretty keen and perceptive and saw things coming a mile away. A lot of people didn't take the warnings. Now they're feeling it. That's about it.
Thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you.
God bless America. Bye.
All right. Shout out to the caller. Good call. Let's go to your line ticket to 210.
Hello?
Yes.
Oh, am I live? Are we on the live right now?
You're on live.
Oh, no way. Hey, how's it going?
It's all good, man. How about yourself?
Big fan.
Thank you.
So I just wanna touch up on a couple of things I've been thinking about. Hello?
Oh, okay, go for it. Yeah.
So I believe that oh my gosh, I'm sorry, I'm just happy. So with the thing with Israel, I say let's do it. Right? Let's fight for them. Okay.
Okay.
So I'm not sure. I know a lot of Republicans don't think the same way, but I think let's do it, right? Let's fight for them. Okay, right? Like they bring us money, we bring them money. Well, what do you think about that?
Well, the way I said it on my stream last night when somebody asked me the question was, we have our own interests we're fighting for, and they have theirs they're fighting for. So if we have a mutual interest, why not work together? It's like, if I'm going to the store and you going to the store, let's ride in the same car. That's the way I see it. It's not that I'm taking you where you don't want to be. We're both going to the same place. Let's just work together.
I hear you. And I think that's the best way we can do it. I mean, better to be together than be fighting each other, you know?
Exactly.
Alrighty. Well, that was all I want to say. I really, really do appreciate these streams. I like your channel. Can you do one thing? It's my buddy's birthday today. Can you say happy birthday, Matthew Price?
All right. Happy birthday, Matthew Price. Have a great one.
I thank you so much. Awesome. Thank you. Stay awesome.
All right, now. Thank you for the call, man. Appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Bye.
All right. Shout out to Matthew Price. Enjoy your day, man. And shout out to you guys. I appreciate y'all for rocking and rolling. If you like what you're hearing so far, if you enjoy the content in general, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. Shout out to you guys. First time, long time. All right. That's what I'm talking about. Shout out to you guys. 734, you're online. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, it's Taisha from Michigan. How are you?
Oh, well, how about yourself?
I'm good. So my comment tonight, and I think you spoke about this on Saturday regarding, is it Chad the Builder, Chug, whatever his name is?
Yes.
I don't know why people act like you can just go around and antagonize people. It's like these people that want to claim free speech are now being unrealistic. Now, these same people, if you went up to their mom while they were out with them and insulted their mom, they will be ready to do something to you. They will be upset. They wouldn't just say, oh, it's free speech. Mom, don't care about that. It's free speech. Why are you upset? So it's like, why are we being so unrealistic now is that we're even bringing up a whole free speech issue when he's literally antagonizing people. You're going up to people when they're minding their business. You don't do that when you're not looking for a problem. You're looking for a problem.
Exactly. I mean, that's common sense. But see, what people want to do ultimately is antagonize people and get away with it. They find a thrill in embarrassing somebody, and tagging someone, messing with them, and they can't do anything back. That's what they like. They like that feeling of superiority over a defenseless person. And that kind of thing may be something that happens in other parts of this world, other parts of the country. Maybe it was a thing in the past, but in 2026, that's not a thing anywhere. And people who have not really done anything like that, people who have not done that before, but they want to do it, think the law's on their side, so they can go out there and do it. But then they find out, like this, that the law's not on their side, and they can't just do whatever they want to do.
Exactly. And I don't know why they are trying to frame it as if, okay, he's out with his friends and he maybe was like, hey, what's up, my, with an A and not an ER. Like, he's literally yelling racial slurs at people. Like, when did it become okay to just diss black people just like that? See, and I think that's the issue with all of these podcasters making money off just downplaying black people. Now, don't get me wrong. There definitely is criticism that is needed for the community, but it has passed that. Now it's, hey, let's just make constant content about black people and, nobody else. So not everybody, every video you watch, you'll see something black. You got videos where the black person is in the right and they're like, black fatigue. I can't remember the cop from Texas, Hernandez, that Hernandez chick, but that was my only comment tonight, is for all the unrealistic people that want to defend this, and for that last caller, you're an idiot. So have a good night. Thanks.
Thanks for the call. Appreciate you. All right. Shout out to the caller. Shout out to all my callers. Hey, whatever they say about each other, I don't know nothing about that. But shout out to all the callers. Shout out to her. That was a good call. But yeah, you can't just go harassing people. And to add on to what she was saying, I don't care who the race is that's being harassed, and I don't care who the race is that's a harasser. I've said it once, and I said it twice, and I said it till the cows come home. Leave people alone. People talking about, oh, why are you offended by speech? Why are you offended by this? Well, don't worry about it. Everyone has the right to feel how they want to feel. Yeah, I never seek to invalidate somebody's feelings. But see, the best way that you can just avoid from getting on somebody's bad side by hurting their feelings, by offending them, is to leave them alone. Don't approach strangers and say things that you know could be offensive. Somebody might say that you shouldn't be offended, but so what? I am offended. So what? You are harassing me. Just like the caller that I did the little short for, or the long form call, and he was like, well, I wouldn't be offended. Well, that's you. And everybody's not you. I can't dictate how somebody else should feel, but what I can do is follow the law. And it's not a thing. It's not okay to be able to harass people. That's not covered under freedom of speech. Harassment is not covered under freedom of speech. Freedom of speech is about the government, really, if you want to talk about it that way. So you going around talking to human beings, talking to people on the street, that's not exercising your freedom of speech. That's about the government. The government can't lock you up for your unpopular opinion. Like you can't get Jamal Khashoggi, basically. That's what that means. It does not mean that you have license to say whatever you want and nobody can say anything back. Nobody can get offended. Nobody can feel threatened. Nobody could be liable, slander, or nothing like that. You slander somebody, you could be held liable and have to pay money. You yell bomb in the theater, that's called a bomb threat. You can't do that. You call somebody's house and you call the police and say that there's something going on in somebody's house. You swat somebody, that's a felony, right? You can go to prison for that. You can't just say whatever you want to say whenever you want to say it. You can't just do whatever you want to do whenever you want to do it. But adults who, mind their business, you have families, you understand how they behave, you get that. But some of us don't understand that. But they're going to find out once they go to the penitentiary or something happens to them out on the street. The best thing that they could have happen is that they just get locked up or it's some kind of fine or something like that. The worst thing is, hey, somebody might put that gun on them and it's over with. And somebody's going to say, well, somebody shouldn't do that. Shoulda, coulda, woulda. Okay, if was the fifth, we all be drunk. How about this? How about just leave people alone and you ain't got to worry about it? You don't got to worry about regulating what somebody does to you if you don't initiate the conflict, which is why there's a law in Tennessee, and I would think most states in the nation, the initial aggressor rule. If you were the one who started the fight, if you're the one who started the confrontation, if you closed the gap and created the contact between somebody that you got into a fight with, you can't say it's self-defense because you're the one that started it. But anyway, you guys understand that, but not everybody does. And I think things like this are good to happen because they're teachable moments. A lot of these things that have been happening lately, a lot of these events, you can learn a lot from it. And I always try within my content to teach people things that they may not know. And shout out to the young guys that watch me. Shout out to the children, the families that watch me together. I appreciate y'all because a lot of your kids, a lot of the young people don't know certain things. They just don't know it. And you don't know what you don't know. And the only way to fix ignorance is with education. That's why I'm here. That's my purpose. AKM says Chud wasn't arrested for antagonizing and harassing someone. But see, the problem is that's part of it. You see, the official reason why he was arrested is not for antagonizing somebody, but the reason why he was arrested is because he harassed somebody. You understand what I'm saying? Like the harassment started the confrontation, and the confrontation led up to the gun coming out. If he did not initiate the interaction, then there would be no confrontation. There would be no gun coming out. You got to see the whole thing in its entirety. Saying words is not what he was arrested for. Antagonizing not what he was arrested for. But those things that he did led up to the crescendo, which was him pulling the cheddar bob on his own self and then shooting the guy, almost killing him. He had to get air flighted to the Vanderbilt, Nashville, bro, from Clarksville. That's an hour drive. You had to get air flighted. You had to get Nightingale to Vanderbilt. You had to get emergency surgery. He's not coming home anymore. He's toast. And you got all kind of chats talking about, I'm going to kill me an N-word, dead chimp on the pavement. When you show that to regular people, regular normies in Clarksville, black, white, whatever, they're going to throw the book at them. They're going to put them up under the penitentiary. The Discord buddies, the online guys ain't going to be there for you. Like Thomas Massie. Hey, everybody that was gassing you up, talking about you going to win, you could be the president, they're not going to be there for you to vote. They were not there for you in the election. You lost that election, sure did. And if you run for president, you're going to lose again. The online support you have is highly concentrated, and it does not represent the entirety of the country. And it didn't represent the district at all, let alone the entire USA. And that's the same thing with this Chud dude. You got a few smooth brains who are going to support him, but they have no relevance, and they're not going to help him when it comes time for the jury to say 25 with the L. Can your hind parts go, hey, 25 with the L, go back in the back, and that'll be that. And like I said, you don't want to get locked up if you are a white person in Tennessee. Hey, man, you getting all the Memphis dudes in there. Hey, man, say, man, Pee Wee Herman looking boy. Hey, it's not a good fate for anybody to face. That's why I was trying to warn him. And hopefully those who may want to be a copycat will take heed to what I'm saying. And if you don't, hey, man, you're going to be somebody's girlfriend, wife, all of that in the penitentiary. They're going to pass you from cell to cell like a note, like a kite, like some weed, like a bag of weed. You're going to get passed from cell to cell to cell like a bag of weed. I don't want that for you, and I know you do not want that for you. All right, but shout out to you guys. Hold on, I'm reading some of your comments. Then I wrap it on up, put the bow on top. Do I think Myron is a goofy? Myron is a silly person. Myron, I don't know what's going on with him. Myron is trying to like say things he thinks that would please his audience. But Myron, if you're listening to me right now, bro, you need to just be real. You don't have to just think you must say certain things to appease people. Just be real. Just be a person that has a brain. You're going to have more success like that than just pretending to be a moron. You're not a moron, but you're pretending to be one. I don't really understand. Maybe he's still young. He's still young. Fresh and fit, that guy. How old is he anyway? Am I going to say it? Are they going to say it on 36? Bro, come on, man. You're a little bit too. You're kind of like my age. You're not that much younger than me. You're young, but not that young. 36, bro. Come on, man. But that's that, you know, I don't know, non-American. You just come into the civilized world for the first time. You're the first generation. You got a lot to learn. You have a lot to learn. You're young in the sense of being in the first world developed place, but you're not young age-wise. So it's time to tighten up. He's just kind of silly. Duel says, any words on a certain tick infestation is causing humans to be allergic to red meat and fish. Yes, that's that alpha-gal syndrome, right? I've seen that, but I don't know what's going on. I don't know where that tick came from, if it was bioengineered. I'm hearing about boxes of ticks being found in certain places, like boxes, not like in the figurative sense, in the literal sense. A box or boxes that have ticks. So I don't know what that's all about. I can't confirm or deny or anything about anything, but I do know that it's an issue. And if you were to ask me to just take a guess on what I think, I would say that it was put there on purpose to make us be less likely to eat food that comes from a mammal, less cow and whatnot. And they want us to eat more fish. I don't know. Personally, I wouldn't want to have no tick bite me in my hind parts or to get on Ozempic to just change my eating habits. I can do that on my own without having to be forced to do it. All right. Yeah, 36 is kind of old. I thought he was like 32. Yeah, some of these guys, the way they talk, I give them a pass because I think they're like in their 20s. If you're like 22, 23 talking like that, okay, I get it because you're young and you just kind of retarded at that age. But 36 is way too old. 36, at that point, I was already married for the first time and I had my house. And I'm from the hood too. I don't know where Myron is from, but I presume that he's not from my kind of environment. I saw you in the picture with them white dudes in the bed, but that's a different story. Yeah, you seem like kind of a suburban guy that went to college and you had a career in the FBI, if I'm not mistaken. So you should be a little bit more mature than what you are. Or maybe you just playing a role, which again, you don't got to do that. You could just be real and not be so silly. Okay. AKM says, I understand, but let's say Chud was antagonizing and someone pulled a gun on him for it, and then Chud pulled his and offed that person. Chud would have been able to claim self-defense. Nah. Not necessarily, because he was initial aggressor. So he wouldn't be able to get off. Nah. He may not face as severe of a penalty. So AKM's scenario was if Chud was antagonizing people and from the antagonizing, somebody pulled a gun and Chud's reaction is to pull his gun, shoot, and kill him. You're not going to beat that. Because you're the one that started the confrontation. Yeah, you will go to jail for a while for doing that because you started it. Initial aggressor. Yes, you might not get the full time as you would get if you were the one who pulled the gun first, but you will get some time. There was a video like that, similar to that. I can't play it here because the guy got shot. He didn't die though. But what happened was, you guys may have heard about it. It was a stolen valor situation. So there was a guy, older black guy in the wheelchair, like one of the motorized wheelchairs. And he had a patch on his chair. It might have been a Navy patch. Random white guys out in the crowd snatches the patch off of the chair, talking about stolen valor. So as a response to this provocation of the guy coming up to him, taking the patch off the chair, the guy in the chair reveals a knife and a replica handgun. From that, the white guy pulls a gun and shoots him in the chair. Luckily, he didn't die. But the white guy did go to jail for that. Yes, he did go to jail for that. Although you can say that the black guy pulled the gun first, who was the initial aggressor, and that was not Tennessee. That might have been New Jersey or somewhere. You can't start stuff with people and then play the victim when something happens to you. You can't start stuff with somebody and then use that as an excuse to go do something to somebody. That's the oldest trick in the book, and the lawmakers have been up on that. That's not anything that you're being clever when you think about. You might think about doing something like that in your regular everyday life, but when it comes to the real world and how the actual law operates, you're not going to have any success with that. And guys are going to find out the hard way. Chud, the builder, thought he could get away with that, and obviously he can't. He's in prison now, or in jail, about to go to prison. The other guy, no charges. He's toast. And like I said, when they show that evidence to the jury out there, to these old ladies and stuff like that in Clarksville, they're going to fry him. And man, they might as well just give him the rope outside. Just hey, take him out back, give him the rope, and be done with it. That's what's going to happen. But anyway, I'm going to read some more comments. Then I'll wrap it on up, put the bow on top. Thank y'all again for joining. I appreciate it. Marta says, ABL, am I tired of people asking if you're still MAGA? I don't even really see too many of that question. I don't see too many questions like that. So I don't mind. Yeah, I don't mind. All right. He did go to jail for that AKM. He went straight to jail. I saw that video today. All right. I think I am good. And shout out to you guys. I appreciate y'all for rocking and rolling. I'll be back live again on Saturday on the YouTubes, but I'm live every Tuesday on the Instagrams. If you're not on Instagram, please do so. And if you don't want to check Instagram out, I will upload that video every Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time right here on the YouTubes. But that'll be a wrap for me. Thank you guys for being here. You guys are the best audience anywhere on these interwebs. If you like what you heard tonight, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. I have all super chats. I believe I got everybody. I think I did. I'm gonna read some more of these comments. Bad Dream says, ABL, did I know Chud is begging for donations? Heard he got 10,000 from Alex Rosen. Alex Rosen, a troll, fat troll, fat people that be on fat influencers. I hate, because why are you an influencer if you're fat? I don't really like people like that. So Jason Whitlock and people like this, man, I'm good. Go ahead, man. You need to lose some weight before you talk to me. Now, what you gonna tell me? You looking crazy like that? You looking like overgrown kid? Still got baby fat on your face and your body? I'm good. But anyway, I mean, I don't understand. I think people just making a statement because they want to say the N-word too and get away with it. I saw Alex Rosen on Hot Twins podcast, big fat fool, talking N-word this, N-word that. You know, I don't know, man. I guess he has a good thing he does with the predator catching, but you could be a predator catcher without being a dickhead too at the same time. I'm sorry, but that was the word I had to use. That was right there on top of my tongue. It's a little bit late. Time for me to go to bed. But shout out to you guys. I appreciate y'all for rocking and rolling. I'll be back live again on Saturday, and I'm here every single day putting out content. If you enjoyed what you heard tonight, if you enjoyed the content in general, give the video a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed for some reason, subscribe, hit that bell too for me so you get notified when I put out a live or a new video. All right. That is a wrap for me. Shout out to you guys. You guys are the best audience anywhere on these interwebs. I could not do the show without you. Thank you to the moms for keeping the trolls in check. I appreciate y'all for that as well. But until next time, y'all be safe. I'm out. And peace.